There's Darla.
Oops, I just lost the sound.
We're here.
We can
Oh, you're
hear
there.
you.
Okay.
We can see you.
We're just being very quiet.
Oh, okay. I'm not used to that.
For us.
Hold on. Sorry, I just had my agenda pulled up here and it disappeared. Let me get it back in front of me. All right. Well, I have it printed out, so we'll get started that
You
way.
need one, yeah, you need one like this, Darla. This one
I have
disappeared.
one. I have all of them. All right. Hi, everyone. Thanks for meeting tonight. Is there anyone in the room that I can't see that I need to know about?
Well, Meredith's here, Sharon's here, and
Dennis Fisco.
Dennis is here.
Dennis would
Hi,
like to speak at public forum.
Okay. Thank you. And thanks for allowing me to come in by Zoom. I'm still battling my cold and I'm hearing out of one ear. So this
Put that
cold
one
that
towards
doesn't
the
want to
mic.
go away. What's
Put that
that?
one towards the mic.
I feel
I'm
for
gonna
you.
have
Put that one
to.
towards the speaker.
I feel like I'm shouting all the time, so I apologize if I am. So thanks everyone. I appreciate you coming. And we'll call our meeting to order. We'll have an overview of our Zoom meeting operations and procedures and rules for participation. Those of you joining us online, please mute yourself. And if you need to, if you'd like to speak, please wait to be, wait to be recognized by myself or someone in the room. Thank you very much. Jimmy, you like us so much you're on twice tonight.
Do you have anything to add
I'm having trouble with this thing, Darla.
Well,
It's,
I'm glad you're with us, Jim.
yeah,
Once
me
or
too.
twice. So we'll move on to public forum, and I understand there's someone in the room who'd like to speak this evening.
Yes.
Come on up, Dennis. They can see you.
We go here?
Yes. Unless you want to be in the center.
No.
But the camera will find you anyway.
Yeah, okay. Basically, I'm having a problem with a neighbor. The neighbor has, I believe, 5 horses and terrible fencing. And I was hoping the chief, I had called him and he was going to come. He is, as you probably know, animal control. He's not experienced in rounding up horses. Just this past month, twice, I've called him. And he and Francis, who is also a patrolman, have looked at the regulations in Bristol. And if there's a dog problem, you chain them up. There is no mention of, I'll use the term livestock, whether I'm mainly concerned with horses, because I've got 2 horses. And last summer, they were dancing, all 5 of them, on the mound system, but whoever put the mound system did a good job, so there was no damage to it. And this woman just will not fix the fencing. And the other problem I'm concerned about, I've got 2 horses, and I guess it's like dogs. If they see other dogs and they're running around, my horses are gonna go through fences. So I would like the select board to consider something, you know, again, whether it be a fine, forming a livestock committee to go to houses and, you know, if there are problems or what. But that's basically it. I have no solution. I don't know. Something should be done because I guess horses are not addressed.
Bruce can tell us.
Is
Bruce?
this a job for the fence viewer?
No,
No.
fence viewers are property boundary disputes.
Okay, never mind.
No, there is nothing in your town ordinance that addresses horses.
Is there anything in state statute that addresses them?
There are a couple of statutes, but I haven't found anything where she's in violation of anything. My concern is that somebody is going to hit one of those horses and either the horses are going to be hurt or killed or somebody hitting them.
We already have an issue.
So at least 3 times in 2023, 2 times we responded. And the third one, we got the call, but before we got there, the horses were back. It seems to be an issue. And if it's maybe time to consider livestock to be addressed in the town ordinance.
Okay,
I do know you're liable for your animals.
Right.
If your horse was out and I were to run into it, you're liable to fix my vehicle.
Or
Right, you're liable,
house
but
out.
you know, do
Yeah,
you
no,
run
no.
into the horse before we fix the problem?
No, that's not
Okay.
what I'm saying. That's the only law I know of.
Right, right.
And I have a problem with that because if her horses come over and
Get your
excite
horses.
my horses
Yeah.
and my horses run into a car, I'm like,
is it just a single fence between your two horses?
You need to take a ride.
yeah, I mean, that's the best thing.
I believe
Is this who
there's
I think it is?
Yes.
Okay.
And there is property between the two of you, right? There's,
Oh,
her
well,
property doesn't
basically,
border your property,
Murphy, who lives
without any names. I know.
Opposite.
you know, and he and her have whatever, and he's been battling this prior to me moving up there. Buska, which is on the corner, I had heard, and whether it's not true, those horses demolished his lawn, and he put a claim in, and her insurance had to pay for a new lawn,
Mhm.
and,
Okay,
you know, it's just,
I think the insurance company paid for a fence to put it up, to keep them off the lawn.
well,
But
how many pallets can you get to make a fence?
Exactly.
well, so before,
You're giving it away.
before we can do anything, it would need to be in our ordinance, correct? Similar to dogs. Or can we-
I'm not sure.
Okay,
Michelle, you're the legal expert on the board.
No, I'm not.
No,
I would have to, I mean, like Bruce, I would have to look to see if there's statute,
Yeah.
other than I know that the liability piece is there. I don't know, we may have to create.
What-
add,
what are your-
amend.
right, what are your thoughts, Tom?
This is new stuff, I don't know.
I mean,
It's
Given
the
that-
same as having your dog under
Right,
control.
it's
basically.
really the same
exactly.
thing.
but if our ordinance
Can't,
has no mention of a horse, and it's very specific to dogs,
Yeah.
it's hard to use it.
right,
Well, one thing we can do is amend the dog ordinance to call it an animal control
Control,
ordinance,
right.
which broadens the scope and it could include other unintended consequences like cats and chickens
Right,
and other things like
Yes.
that.
Yeah, if you were going to do that, definitely chickens. That's another complaint we're starting to hear
Yeah.
more about.
okay,
Right.
Yeah, they like to travel.
yeah. Okay,
Horses and
That's,
chickens.
that's my 5 minutes
I'm
of,
sorry that you're having that issue.
again, the chief has been great, you know, like, he
Don't build him up too much.
Well,
He's
again,
listening.
there was one time that he was out there marching them down Carlson Road, I think that was last year.
I guess I'll ask the question, Bruce. What do you get response from the horse owner? Or has she been approached?
Or can you
Oh,
not say
yeah,
that?
we reach out each time. It's becoming more strained, but she does respond.
But she does, from what I've been told, works at Tractor Supply at the various stores
Yep.
in Vermont and does display work. That was last I heard of it.
So she has access to pallets.
She gets the ones that are hand-me-down, so that she doesn't get the new ones.
Okay,
So,
all right.
thank you for your time.
Well, thank you for coming in.
I stated
Thank
my
you.
problem and hopefully something will happen.
Yes.
Thanks, Dennis.
Okay.
Thanks, Dennis.
I can tell you, section 3341 of Title 20 says a person, and this is really kind of funny, person who knowingly permits cattle, horses, sheep, goats, or swine to run at large in the public. Well, this one has the highway or yard belonging to a public building shall not be fined more than $10 nor less $3. It's like,
That's a new order, that's a new one. Huh?
That's the
We'll
state
put it right here on the
ordinance.
list, other stuff. Horse ordinance.
Animal control.
Yeah.
Upon lands or premises of another after the latter has given the owner notice, there shall not be fined not more than $10 or not less than $2. And they could be amended, and they shall be liable for damages suffered, which may be recovered in a civil action. So but that's a civil action.
Yeah.
Right, and the section says knowingly, so if she's,
Right.
you know,
Well, if you don't have a fence, you know they're gonna get out.
Right, or if you don't.
Oh,
have
there
a
is
good
a fence there.
Yeah.
How high is that fence? Is it like a child's fence?
Pallet high.
Pallet.
It's pallets.
One eye. Okay.
You need to
You
take
need
a
to get out.
ride.
Isn't a pallet about where the knees of a horse would be?
Well,
4
it's-
feet,
Yeah.
Horse can jump that
pretty.
But, well, it isn't a matter of
Yeah,
jumping.
but
It's
is
a
it,
matter of
but
getting
is it,
knocked
but is a
down.
pallet a fence? That's the question.
Well, it's a pallet fence.
you know.
Okay.
We'd have to define what a fence is.
Right,
And,
okay.
and a policy.
All right, something to work on for our next meeting.
You know what? At least hit her with $10 fine. I know it's, keep hitting her with it.
$10 times 5 for each horse would be a fine.
Oh, there we go.
It's a start in the right direction.
Something.
Okay. Sounds like a future agenda item.
We always have so much fun here.
Now under budget. Hey!
Okay, so moving on to regular business. Actually, I skipped a whole bunch of stuff, didn't I? Sorry, guys. No, I didn't. I'm good.
Do you know which meeting you're in?
I do. I'm sorry.
Any,
Anything to add?
any,
No agenda I have.
Yeah.
I whispered to Valerie. She said,
Well, I have an election question, thank you, which I mentioned to you earlier.
is that something to add or is that public comment?
No, it's, Cecil called me today about the food and stuff.
Oh,
Do
right.
we want him to come for, you asked him too late last year, but he's trying to get ahead of
Oh,
the
good
game.
for him. Well done.
So as far as we know, we still want him to go ahead and do whatever they usually do.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And bring coffee and.
That would be
whatever.
fantastic.
He
That's a great
wanted a
idea.
head count too. Do we know how many people typically show up? Because he texted me
He
that.
said 80 to 100 is what they usually
That's fine.
Yeah.
plan on, so.
I won't take a second cookie.
You don't get any cookies.
Oh, I know. Oh, darn. Oh, wait, that was when I was in the audience. Right. Darn it.
We used to get cookies when we had to break for the
Oh,
school
that's right.
budget.
Yeah, but we don't have
We
five
don't
anymore.
get that anymore.
We're just up on the stage.
That's right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Tell them to bring extras for the select board member to put up on the stage.
And thank you, Cecil, for reaching out about that. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, after COVID, we all kind of lost the rhythm of
I
things.
know.
Yes, for sure. Okay, now are we good to move on to regular business? I think so.
So
Yes.
budget workshop.
Budget workshop. You're up, Val.
All right, so I'm gonna share my screen. Well, let's see, how do you wanna do this? I mentioned that there are a couple of items in the general fund budget that I wanna kind of circle back on to correct or update. But then we also wanna look at, assignment of unassigned fund balance. And I learned today from the auditor that the correct amount is, I emailed it out, is over $300,000.
We have more than we thought.
And it's
But it's-
cumulative.
I was gonna say that's total for all the years.
Yeah, not just FY 22.
Just not 22.
So it's 20, it includes 23?
No,
No,
no, just
2022.
whatever.
It's
22
preceded
is
20
higher?
Up to 2022,
Yeah.
Okay,
because that.
so whether it's cumulative or not, we
That's
have
right.
that money.
Correct,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
which is good.
So, and then I know in the past, the select board had adopted a policy of reserving 5% of the total expenses.
For a rainy day fund. yeah.
Right.
So whatever that is, subtract from that, and that'll tell us what we have to.
Right. Now, in my budget, in the budget worksheet, I came up with a different calculation, not accounting for tax revenue and delinquent tax revenue. And so my number is a lot lower than theirs, and of course, it's not cumulative. So my number in the budget worksheet just looked at FY 22 and just did simple math from revenues that exceeded what we expected and expenses that were below what we expected. So you take those together and you have a surplus.
So where is that gonna show up in what we're looking at?
Well, let's see,
I mean, the only place we typically use that money is to bolster our funds.
right.
Well, but you received a reply from the auditors saying that the higher number did include the delinquent taxes and was,
Cumulative.
yes, cumulative.
Yeah.
So that is the number that we can.
What do you mean it included delinquent taxes?
The audit just shows one number,
Uh-huh.
and it's, let me see if I can.
So when you say included delinquent
The
taxes,
money they
that,
collected,
the money collected or the?
money on the
that's
books,
outstanding?
it's owed us. That's what I wanna know, yes.
Yeah, so the money.
I think that's what you're asking.
I would
Yeah.
say it's not a surplus if you don't have it in your hand.
Yes, no, it's not what's owed us, because that number would be much higher.
We wouldn't have any money if it was owed us.
Huh? What's that, sir?
Way higher.
Yes,
Yeah, we wouldn't have any surplus if it was what was owed us.
yeah,
Mhm.
it's what's been collected.
It's past due taxes collected.
Mhm.
But it's just the penalties and interest, isn't it?
That's
It's
what I
not
want,
like the-
That's
because-
what I'm trying to understand
because the
what.
delinquent taxes was part of we expected everybody to pay, so that's what we based the budget on.
Right.
So
But
here,
any extra is just the penalty and interest that
It
occurs.
should be undesignated
Yeah.
or undefined.
oh, sorry, the delinquent taxes is about the property tax figures. You asked a question about that to the auditors, and their response was it does include delinquent taxes.
Mhm.
Regarding the unassigned fund balance, they said the unassigned fund balance for the general fund is $390,326.
Mhm.
Schedule sheet C shows the unassigned fund balances for just non-major funds. So I think that's what the number that you were looking at, right, Val, or the closer number.
There it is. So that's the number in the audit.
Yeah.
And the one that I had used in the IT report was this 265, because I saw this negative. And I don't know, I went over to that number instead, but she clarified that no, it's the general fund is just 390.
So what's the 125 number?
Some other fund, other governmental funds.
So does that, we are owed that, or excuse me, we have to pay that to somebody?
No,
No.
it's just, I'm not exactly sure what that represents. So I tend to err on the conservative side financially. So that's why I gravitated to that $265,000 number, but.
Well, that's where I'm going with that.
Yeah.
Do we have 390 or
What
265
did she say in her
with the
note?
5%?
We have 390, 326,
Including
including what?
the taxes or
No,
no?
that was, I missed.
That was something
That was
totally
something.
So it was a different
Correct,
percentage.
yes,
All right.
yes.
So when we figure out what 5% is of our budget and
Right.
then,
That's
and then
right.
go from there, and if we wanna leave, I mean, they have recommended that we leave a little bit more, but,
Yeah,
if we wanna leave a little bit more, depending on where we're at.
Yeah,
So let me stop sharing, because I haven't figured out how to switch screens without doing that.
Cause see, up at the top, it's almost the exact number. There's an investment, 125,623 government funds. And then,
what are you trying to
My
do?
screen is wonky, I've got these windows I can't push through.
That's where the dynamite comes in here.
Well, I just had
Just
to
like
just
for
get rid of a
fixing the
bunch of
car.
screens, I'm trying to move this so I can stop.
Click OK.
I
You need
can
to-
stop share. Okay, there's that.
All right.
So I want this one. Get out of here.
Ian's stealing our limelight, Joel. Helping Val with their computer.
oh, yeah,
Yeah, try.
unplug it and start it back up. Tell me how the process. Check engine light comes
So
on.
now let the computer
Now I think I'm
clear
back.
and start it back up.
Thank you, Ian.
I mean, I didn't really do anything. I just stood there and looked like I was doing something.
Hey, you know what they say, looks can be deceiving. So.
So where do we want to start?
Is there any
What's the
revenue?
5%?
Right. We're talking about,
Well, I don't think we look at the 5% until we get through everything, because
Right.
some of those numbers aren't all, not all our numbers are in yet.
So,
and we won't, and that's money we put into the articles where we take from the unassigned funds to
For
the
capital.
building and the
Right,
roads and
right.
that, so it doesn't affect anything until we're done this.
all right, so this is the cell that I used for the fund balance calculation. But I'll replace it with that number. And what that does is we go over here. Oops. There you go. So there's that number, there's the 5%.
Okay, that's what I was,
Yeah,
okay, that's where I was, and we
so
got 245.
if we trust that
247.
number of 390,000.
I don't think, yeah,
I mean, the auditor said that's what it was.
Yeah,
Right.
well, depending on where we end up, I would, and what we want to put into funds, I would say we keep somewhere between 150 and 2 in that fund.
mhm.
But that number could change if we
Right.
change numbers, that 144 could
Mhm.
change
Yeah,
if we add to the budget.
right, yeah. So, how do I-
And if we left some of that bigger.
It's just there for next year.
That's there for next year, correct.
I mean,
Well, it would
what we
also,
get to-
be, we would have our 2023 unassigned funds.
Right.
Just for that year coming up, which will be added to that, so.
Okay, sorry.
So we do the budgets first.
Yes.
Yep.
That would be my recommendation.
Yeah.
It's not my call.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So, I don't think anything significant has changed, since the last time. I did update on the rec department. Let's see, the liability. I think I mentioned last time that figured it out, and we now know what the accurate liability insurance rate is, and it's this, it's 984. 3,984.
You said 300.
Yeah, sorry. And I'm pretty sure that's accurate. That also includes the insurance for the new van. Last year and the year before or so, things were a little wonky and we didn't quite have it nailed down what it should have been. And what that figure represents really is the rec field, the teen center building, all the facilities, the grandstands, all that stuff at the rec field. That's because the town pays the insurance and then the Bristol Rec Club pays the town back. And
So have they been paying us for?
well, that's mostly.
Because we haven't given them the right number?
It's been uneven, partly because the number has been difficult to
Yeah.
nail down sometimes, and that's partly too because VLCT community year sometimes changes things and we don't quite connect the dots right away. This time I think the dots are pretty well connected. So the change that I want to make is, well, what I did up here in revenue, I added a revenue line. Where are we? Revenues. I
For their
added a
liability insurance payment.
I added a revenue reimbursement because I'm not sure that we kept track of where the revenue payment ended up each year. So this way we would keep track of that.
But if the
The
van
van's
is in
Right,
there, it can't
right,
be in the
so-
reimbursement.
Right, so that was a revelation just today. And so what we would do is delete that, deduct that figure.
I mean, I get where the 3994, because you've got, or 2484, you've gotten that from VLTC.
Right.
But if the van is $1,000 to insure it, then the revenue probably is only 2984. Am I saying?
It's actually $694.
Oh, for the,
Yeah,
van,
because
okay.
there's a separate category for vehicle for rec department.
okay,
And so what I would propose to do is deduct that figure. And so that would be their reimbursement.
okay.
I mean, is there an easier way to do it instead of, can we reverse that? Does that benefit us in any way?
Reverse it in what way?
In terms of, we don't pay it, that the rec club pays it, and then we pay them instead of the other way around?
It's built
It's through
into
our
town.
account.
It's all under one.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no reason for us to pay them back if it's their facilities. I don't know how long ago this
Oh,
arrangement
it's
built.
been many years,
Yeah, I
many
imagine
years.
so.
And for them to go out and get it was going to be like 3 times as much.
Okay,
And
And
because
let me
there's
go
so much
through-
overlap,
Yeah. Let
Was
so
me-
we just have to
facilities.
make sure that we invoice them, correct?
that would be helpful.
And the same with the library as well, with the workers' compensation, things like that. They budgeted for that, but they haven't paid it because we haven't billed them for it.
Mhm,
Okay,
mhm. Yeah. So there's, that was the change I wanted to make, so that reduces the revenue just a little bit, but it also adds revenue that we didn't originally have in there, from ago. So there's that. The other thing we want to circle back on, the listers proposal, which,
Yeah.
last time we talked about it in executive session.
I just got a question before we move on.
Yeah.
The insurance went from whatever it was to 3,900. And the percentage it went up was over 4,500. How does that work when the percentage goes up more than the actual dollar amount
What percentage are you?
on the
line 459,
4, 5,
the change from FY 24 to
in
25.
the
That's
insurance,
why.
the insurance line for the rec department?
It's this one here that I highlighted, right?
Yeah, down.
That one there.
You mean,
Now, you're not on the same screen, are you?
Yeah,
Oh, you are, okay.
That one right there.
oh, right there.
So it went up.
Because it
Because
was,
it's a-
last year it was $86.
yeah.
Yeah, but,
It's an FY 24, 25 change. It's not a,
Yeah, because
It's
that
not-
wasn't,
how can the percentage be more than the actual dollar amount?
I don't know, it's in that sheet.
Well, I'm asking.
I don't know, you guess you multiply $86 by that and you come up with 3,900.
Yeah, 'cause what's the sum is, yeah, it's of the 86 budget
Yeah,
and the difference in that, right?
yeah.
I guess I don't understand that calculation, but
either.
that's okay.
Yeah.
I don't need to as long as I know the number.
Yeah, so I'm pretty confident in that number.
It does look.
Yeah,
quite
well,
large.
yeah, I mean, that,
Yeah,
So really, I think that's about it. And I don't know how you want to handle the lister
Well,
discussion.
Just under the liability insurance, line 459
Yeah,
is just for the rec department, correct? And then the reimbursement is on the revenue.
right.
When
right.
Ian said that the library where's the revenue for that reimbursement of the libraries?
That comes up,
Well, the liability for the library, everything, as far as I know, has never been billed to them.
No, I'm thinking that workman's,
workers'
Workers'
comp.
comp.
It was part of
I
that.
don't know that they ever been billed for that either, because I didn't even know they were paying workers' comp for that.
yeah,
well,
So it's.
should that be a revenue?
well,
I'm
here's,
just
well,
asking.
there
It is a revenue, and it's in the library.
And I
budget.
don't know what is
And it's in here.
dedicated to workers' comp for that.
yeah, so here
We'll
is
have to
the,
find out from VLCT how much it is, because when, it's not, I don't think it's broken out.
it is actually,
I know the liability part is, but I didn't think the.
so
workers' comp-
here's the VLCT calculation. You can see it's kind of messy looking. But there's the library liability, and down
is
here
workman's
is
comp.
library workers' comp.
Yeah.
So there
I
it
guess
is.
we've never, as far as I know, we've
So-
never billed them.
Where would it, is it a $1,200
That's projected,
Correct,
projected
yeah.
revenue?
yes.
And
For the
that's not
town.
the revenue page though, correct?
no, this is
No, that's
this is-
I realize that.
Yes,
VLCT
it's,
spreadsheet.
it's in
That's what
our
we
budget
pay.
as a revenue. It's
I
just,
don't-
You're making a good point, because
Where
on
is it?
this page, reimbursements to town, there's the library line for the reimbursements, which
Okay.
have typically just been the health insurance that we knew about.
And short-term, long-term.
And,
Yes.
yeah,
I didn't know about, as far as I know.
So there'd be a number there?
there should, well, we didn't think that the current librarian, we were told that the librarian there was not going to be taking the health insurance, so that's why there's a 0 there, but
There should be 1,200 in there. for
But
revenue.
that's a good point about the liability, so I'm gonna,
Yeah, because
Throw that
Coco
in.
stopped taking medical insurance in the end of 2021.
It's $1,200, 3
$1,203
cents.
yeah, in the
So there it
library
is.
budget, let me just pull it up here.
And they haven't been billed for long-term, short-term, long-term
right,
for Coco.
which doesn't, it's not consequential.
No, it's not huge.
how do we
So
make
that's
sure that that gets
just,
billed going forward? Do we assign that to someone and put it on a calendar?
It should be on a calendar.
There's a lot of them that should be on a calendar, but we only have one program on one machine that does invoices, and it's kind of fallen through the cracks over the last few years.
But now that we know about it, we'll just have
I
a
wonder if,
conversation.
you know,
with
we-
them.
I wonder
There's more than just that, there's quite a
Well,
few
right,
that
but
need
I'm
to
wondering
be
if we
going
can make a
out.
list, you know, so that it's not just on a calendar, it's like, these are the things
Yeah.
that, like,
Yeah.
kind of like. Not a job description, but these are the to-do things to remember, like, pay the boards, you know.
I tried
build
to
a-
work
build
with
a
Anthony
rec
to
club,
do
build a-
that.
What's that?
I tried to work with Anthony to do that. That's, yeah, that big calendar that's on the wall.
Yeah, that doesn't work either.
Intended to
You
be
need a
tool.
regulatory calendar that can send out reminders.
Yeah.
Do you have that?
And no, I did at my other job because I created it, but we don't have it here.
I mean, you almost
Can you
need like,
create
a
one here?
you almost
Not
need a
with-
shared calendar. like
Yeah,
shared
you don't
calendar.
have the program. We actually created a program and then we bought a program
Well, I
to make
think,
it work, but we could. I've been trying to think how we can do that, because there's a lot of deadlines that slip through
Right.
because they're all assigned to different people and nobody's keeping track.
Yeah, that's what I
So-
mean, there should be one centralized
Yeah,
calendar.
So
that has
how,
all
how
that.
did, at your old position, how is it, because multiple people could see that, what was coming up?
Well, I had automatic reminders that went out a week or two in advance or a month in advance, because I was doing reminders for the entire company, not just.
Well, let's do
Yeah.
that. That sounds like the best thing. What,
we're a
what,
lot
Yeah.
smaller company.
what do we need to,
Yeah,
what do we need to do that? Let's look at
I
that.
don't know, we wrote a program with IT and
Let's
I
not
wrote
do
a
that.
program, Yeah.
Let's find
Um,
one.
I haven't quite figured out what's the best way to do it,
Okay.
because it can be very convoluted.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of monthly ones, and we have some that are quarterly, I have some that are quarterly, but
Who's chatting there?
then tri-quarterly, so
Okay.
there's a whole bunch of different ones. I haven't quite had a lot of time to think about it, but. For realizing.
Really, like you have nothing else to do?
Yeah.
You're not just mulling over, what should I program today?
But these are great questions that we should write down and have them when we do hire or do interview for treasurer. We have these questions to ask. How do
Well,
you,
not just even questions, but these are things that we need to teach you to do.
Yeah.
Their
And
responsibilities.
how organized you are
if
too.
one treasurer interview says, oh, I have nothing to do, but I don't know anything about that. And the other one says, oh, yeah, we do that all the time, blah, blah, blah. my own
Yeah,
job."
but a lot of it's
Well, it's
software
not-
related, yeah.
It's not necessarily part, it would, the treasurer, that would be part of their position, but I think we as a town need to have that system in place
Oh, yeah.
already. And so if we can figure that out.
There's a simple tool through the Outlook calendar where you
Okay.
can build in reminders on your personal calendar for things.
But whether
Yeah,
you
but
can
it's
do it,
kind of, yeah, if you're just doing it on your personal one for an entire group, that's.
Yeah, I don't know how you-
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
I mean, at our office, we use Outlook and we have a shared calendar, you know,
Okay.
where everybody
Yeah.
puts stuff on it. But it doesn't necessarily, unless you set it up to send a reminder, you know, it's like, it's due this date, start sending out reminders on such and
I'll add
such a
that to
date.
my IT list.
So where that 1,200 is, should it say, it says ST/L,
Yeah, short-term, long-term.
long-term, should it also say,
Liability.
And.
or not live, what was it?
Workers' comp.
Workers' comp
comp.
in there?
So we don't have the short and long term in there, even though it's a minuscule amount.
Yeah, the new one hasn't gone on it yet, and like I said, last couple of years for Coco, we haven't.
On the liability or just
Long, short and long
Long-term.
term.
Short term, long term.
Okay.
And she didn't take, like I said, she stopped taking the medical at the end of 21. Cause she went on her husband's and her kid went on Dr. Dinosaur or something like that.
Right, so talking to one of the library trustees, they said, I have no knowledge of the town paying for any health insurance. As far as I know, Nancy Wilson, who was there before, never had any health insurance, which is true. Also, Coco and Katie, Katie is our new director, opted out of purchasing health insurance and instead receive an annual $4,000 stipend. Coco told us that $1,200 is budgeted annually by the library for disability insurance through the town, and the town bills us for that. And she says, I just received word from Nancy Palmore Lee, the LML bookkeeper. We have not paid anything to the town since May of 2021.
Okay.
So we
We're
need to
right
catch,
on top of
we'll,
things.
we'll need to catch up with that. Well, I mean, a lot changed,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I know.
Nancy was there from a long time, and so it was just the same thing
Yeah.
happened every single year, and then there were these changes with Coco and now Katie, so.
You know,
And you can't blame them for not doing something
Right,
they don't
and
know
there
about.
was a lot of board turnover as well, and so that knowledge disappears when a board
Right.
member leaves.
Which is funny, she has a $1,200 figure and that's about
Well,
the
that's
price
Right,
of
that's
the
gonna-
workers'
yes,
comp.
so, yeah.
Sharon, do you know if the library is still included in the disability insurance roster?
The new person has not filled out a form, they have not asked to be.
Okay.
They've asked to be part of Beamers, which is a different animal, and I don't know if they're gonna be able to.
Here again, if a bill wasn't sent, I don't
They're
send
not,
I don't
they're
send
not a
checks
Bristol
to
employee, so to speak.
No.
Green
but
Mountain
the
Power when I don't get a bill,
No, I-
or Jackman Fuel.
Beamer sent me the questions
Or
they needed to
Champlain, I
answer,
get a bill for.
and then they popped it back to me and said, oh, let us know if you need anything. Well, you didn't answer the question, so. They said, cause Beamers can still say no, whether they respond to all the questions correctly or not, because they're not technically a town employee, so.
Well, also, there's the employee contribution and the employer contribution.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
All right, let's figure that out. All right, moving on. Is that Bernie calling?
No.
So,
Well, I don't know.
what else do you want, how else do you wanna?
Well, weren't we also gonna go back to the hub and the other employee we were gonna
right.
talk about?
Yeah, that's $20,000 down there.
So what are people's thoughts about that position? Obviously, it's currently a shared position between the rec department and the hub in the form of Zach, right? And that's what you're,
Yeah.
that's
So
what you're
right now,
changing.
just to-
And I know why you're doing that.
So it's 10 hours
Right.
at the hub, 30 for rec.
Okay,
So right now it's 40 hours, 30 here, you said,
And which we just changed when we took over BYS.
and you wanna go 2020?
No.
That was,
No.
it was
It's
2020,
40.
and then now that we've
It's gonna be
kind
40/20.
recovered from COVID and brought on
Like
Bristol Youth
60.
Sports. He's at the office and in need more for underneath the Bristol Rec Department. Of course, if Taylor needs anything, we all pretty much do job sharing in that sense, we could be over there, but just looking at how much impact the BYS basketball has done, moving forward, it's definitely consuming of his time. And it's really hard for him to go to the hub and pick up what Taylor needs from him in that position, because he's only there now for only 10 hours. So if there's a project to start, because that's, the hub is, in theory, it's 2 to 6 or 1 to 5 for him to be there. And now he's only there Wednesdays and Thursdays.
And, is Jackie, what's her position?
Jackie's position, she's there, from 2 to 6 every day. And so, but she doesn't she's there to cook the food and entertain, but she's not there in a capacity of leadership like what Taylor would need from somebody, from Zach.
So if Zach's gonna be here full time, is it in the budget to backfill?
That's
10 or
what,
20?
that's what
That's what that is, that $20,000 more?
Growing pains.
Are we gonna get any revenue from Bristol Youth Sports, cause Zach's time is, let's say it's 10 hours a week, for Bristol Youth Sports,
Yeah, we chatted about that, so out of every seasonal program, like basketball, out of all the registrations, Bristol Rec Department will take the 20% from the registration. So for instance, basketball brought $2,700 in, we'll get 20% of that put into the Bristol Rec Department.
how is the 20% figured out?
It's kind of like, if we were just doing simple admin, it would have been like 10%. But this isn't simple, he's taking on the scheduling of all 5 town basketball. And now that we've gotten into lacrosse, you have to work with the National Lacrosse League, professional, like referees, so his time consuming is a lot.
Yeah.
So the 20% actually does cover quite a bit of his time.
And the revenue line is increased to reflect some of that infusion.
Can you go higher than 20? Like if we wanted to cover his additional hours for the rec department, which essentially is Bristol Youth Sports, can you do 25%? Can you do 30?
I can't do that this year because this is the first year we've done this.
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted to make it so 20% is usually what we've done for when Starksboro wanted to do their camps through us. That was where that 20% came in. Until we see a full year of what's going on, I don't wanna bump it up.
So that 20,000, that, how many hours is that gonna give? At the
20.
hall?
20.
20 hours a week.
20 hours,
At $20 an hour.
Is,
And that's a new person?
that would be a new person.
Correct.
now,
But
the
that-
Jackie, you mentioned person is 10 hours a week?
Negative, she is 20 hours a week.
We don't
And
pay her,
she's-
doesn't she get
She
paid?
is
Grant
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 based.
funded,
So it's not a salary position.
right.
So it's
She's a
not
grant,
a-
It
No.
could disappear at any point.
yeah.
But the 20,000 isn't 20,000, is it? And if you're including benefits or anything.
Well, that's
like
what I
that.
was just gonna ask, is that 20,000 doesn't include
No,
taxes and
There's no
insurance?
benefit.
There won't be any insurance benefits, but we have to pay
Workman's comp
taxes,
and-
Yeah,
workers'
you have to
comp.
pay all
and
that.
all that
So
stuff.
the FICA Medicare, that includes, well, actually, no, because,
Yeah.
this tab goes to the personnel tab. So there would be a bump, I'd have to add that position into the personnel
Yeah.
tab. And there would be a bump in the FICA Medicare, Social Security stuff,
So,
and then the.
so you haven't, looking at the personnel tab here, it's that position, there isn't a line for that yet.
Correct.
Okay, so we should do that if we
Right,
can.
so
maybe-
I have
maybe in
I have a
addition,
question
but-
for Meredith.
Yeah.
Meredith, are you, because you're considered an after-school program, are there certain ratios to staff and kids that you have to have in place?
For inside the hub?
Yeah.
I think
Really?
because of the age group that is, like, if we were dealing with first graders, it's a ratio of 2 and 1. So we're dealing with 12 and up. So, the ratio for 12 and up is usually like, if you were 12 years old, it would be, and you had 8 12-year-olds to 1
Right.
person. And that's like sports wise, that's like,
so Taylor, we're gonna, if we vote this to 20,000, we're gonna have 3 employees over there 4 hours a day. Or Taylor's more than 4, obviously, she's full-time.
Well,
Yeah.
we're gonna have just what we've had up until Meredith pulled Zach to work in the office here.
Right.
Well,
We're not gonna have any more.
no, he was
employees.
10 hours.
He was 20 to start. He was 20 and 20 to start.
Yeah.
And then she pulled him 10 more. And now she wants to pull him another 10, which will be 40 hours here. So his 20 hours was always over there. His 20 hours went up into the full-time. Well, it was already in the full-time line.
Falling out of the hub budget and into the rec budget.
Yeah, we
Right.
pulled it out, and now we're adding it back in, though, for this additional employee. Because Zach's salary was split between the two.
Yeah.
I think what would be helpful, and it's been a conversation, is to get a job description for this third person, for this person over at the hub.
Well, you definitely need that, but we don't need that to budget the position.
No, but
Do you think that there are many candidates who would fill it?
I mean, what's nice is it's in the afternoon, like
After
2
school?
o'clock to 6, so it could be really great for somebody who's early 20s going to college. This is a perfect job to put on your resume.
Hmm.
That's the thinking. Ian, do you want to try to slip that into the personnel tab?
Yeah, let's see, we'll just create that. and
Copy
we
over
can-
here.
We can discuss
Insert
it.
a row and copy and paste from there and
Yeah,
And the calculation should work out. And the main thing we would look.
How many days, how many, on average do you get student, kids coming
Oh, kids in there? 25,
a day?
yeah, and it's pretty chaotic. I mean, I can't, but if they're coming in and they're,
Yeah.
pizza.
Much as I can believe.
I don't know if it's 35 kiddos, but they don't all stay there at the same time. At some points, there is about 18 kids in there, and it is pretty cool, actually.
If you just move
But yeah,
that
there's
20
like
up
25,
onto
30
a 49 and
kids
make
in
that 69,
In those
it'll
3
generate
hours.
the numbers down below and we can fill the holes.
Yeah, instead of maybe a
Until,
decrease.
until Valerie has time to get the
Yeah.
formulas the way she wants them.
So you're gonna change 482 bigger and just
You know,
call it
yeah,
full-time.
Figures don't lie, but liars can figure, you know.
Well, that should be right.
I mean, at this point, we're close enough to the end, so we don't wanna mess something up because we can't.
Yeah,
Right.
We could just slide, we could do what Joel says, just slide it up there and put / part-time. And add that 20 hours there and then make a new line next year for the part-time labor.
that's true. At least we're budgeted that, at least 20,000 for that.
You know, as long as we have a note and we know what it is, well, we'll know what it is because we'll be paying it.
Where'd you get the numbers when you put it in there?
So it's here. So I put in did the 20. No, I know.
Percentage. Zero, it won't give you enough.
So it's
So it's
28,800.
$800.
Yeah. That seems to be right.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is calculated from the,
Right.
To
That's exactly what
the
the
insurance,
yeah.
the,
I was trying to figure the insurance piece that did it.
which is down here, here we go.
Yeah, FICA and Medicare. 1591.20
Oh, no, so there it is, it's this.
pension. I'm waiting for the.
yeah, it should be around
Total- you want total?
$1,500 for FICA.
Yeah, 1,591.20 for FICA. 1768 for pension, but they wouldn't get pension, would they?
No.
Part-time.
Oh, so you can't put in full-time because
Right.
it'll mess
It'll
that
mess
up.
up.
Oh,
Yeah, but it's based on that, though.
Yeah, but if you put 0 in there,
Kind of
because they aren't entitled to
Okay.
it.
So there.
Yeah. And they wouldn't get life or disability either. So that's
Okay.
funny either. Right. Yeah, 1591.20 is
So this
FICA.
cell for
FICA
Social
Medicare.
Security is pointing to P 197 on that page.
2197.
P 197.
I wonder if that's way down below.
Valerie, is there anything about like seasonal
197.
temporary or temporary seasonal? Something I thought, because I mean, definitely during the school year, it's.
So you
I
would
think
not
we have
expect this
that.
person to.
I'm just curious, yeah, I have to talk- I have to
1591.20.
Yeah. which is
Follow up
correct.
with Taylor
Yeah.
Which is
about it.
that.
Yeah,
So
you just
essentially,
add that.
it'll be,
There is definitely a
22,
difference between winter and
391.
summer.
Right.
it's another,
So we could put it all
Probably
in
by
that
like
line
10
just to
Yeah.
cover it.
or 12 kids.
Yeah.
yeah, or essentially 1591 for the additional.
For the
Yes,
FICA
exactly.
Medicare.
So I
Which
mean,
isn't too
it's
bad.
something that.
No,
maybe
well,
I should
I
follow up.
took the
That would be-
the $4,000 and.
I know, you did your amazing math just in your head. Damn you.
I mean, they're rough numbers. but-
Yeah.
So FICA and Medicare would be 1590, basically 1592 added to that.
20,000.
Yeah. We couldn't figure out what it was, T 197.
But it was the
So I'm
same-
not sure
it was
if
the
it
same
changed
number.
it. 1592, you said?
Yeah,
And so you're suggesting, Meredith, that it might not need to be a 20-hour per week full
For the
full
full
year.
year, you know, where we see the impact
Oh, I
is during
see.
the school time, so September to June.
If we budget for it and you need him 25, and you need this person 25 hours, and you don't need them through the summer, you would be able to have the extra hours.
The flexibility.
If we left that number the same, and the same with your programs, you know, we'll run for a year and see how it works out. And maybe we can change it, but
I'd rather be safe than sorry.
Yeah. I agree.
I mean, yeah, the option is either, I mean, if we're concerned about the number, you take the hours down and you have that, or, 3/4 it, or we take it out completely, but then I think it leaves quite a bind for Taylor.
Yeah, it's ultimately up to the taxpayers. to make
Should you,
this
should
decision.
you be a little more elaborate on that?
Estimated
For
for
part-time labor?
part-time. So you know what the heck that means.
Because down the road, we're gonna see that, and what did
Right.
we estimate?
What did we estimate?
She's just she added the 1,500.
I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I think it's a needed position. As Meredith says, the programs are growing both at the rec department, and the hub. And so it's good. That's what we
Yeah,
want.
it's positive.
You've taken over Bristol Youth Sports, which is a big thing, but that was something that could have potentially gone away if you hadn't taken that on. And I think it'll be, even better than it was before, because it's now under your roof and management. So I think this will be a needed position. And the hub's only grown, more and more popular over the last few years, especially with Taylor running it.
Right. And we've had a part-time positions there for a very long time. We've always had a position that helped out during school hours when kids were there, or after school hours, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
It's not new.
You had Val part-time, right? When you were.
I had Val part-time in the office, but the hub always had
Right,
sort of a
that's what I'm
secondary.
saying, so there was always part-time help in the, and
Correct.
it's grown enough
Yeah.
so that it needs.
We always had a,
Absolutely.
what are they called? American.
AmeriCorps.
AmeriCorps person
Yeah.
in there.
Paperwork for that is incredibly
Cumbersome.
tasking.
And you never know what you're gonna get.
So with
I'll just leave it at that.
Jackie being with a grant.
Yep.
How many hours a week is she? 10?
She's 20.
She's 20. Okay, you don't get the grant next year. Does that 20 go to 40? That's a question I have.
Oh, because then we would be paying her
Right.
through the.
No, I mean, it depends. That would be a question we'd have to deal with at that point.
Yeah.
Right. And we've
We've
had
always-
that grant.
That position goes away, then those 20 hours disappear. And the full-time position of Taylor and the part-time position of unknown.
Haven't we received that grant ever since Jerry?
It's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
and
the United
still have
Way.
a strong case for it.
Okay, I'm just,
yeah, but it is a potential because it's a grant.
It could.
But,
It could go
but we
away.
also have a grant writer on staff, which we've never had before, so there's potential there maybe to find other money. She seems to be finding a lot of money, so that's good.
Yeah.
Whether we get it or not, that's another question, but yeah. Okay, I mean, I'm for that position. It's nice to know, at least with our rough calculations here, what it would be, what the actual cost would be, putting in the 20,000 for the 20 hours. But I'm fine with that.
And after the meeting, I'll.
Yeah, you should be able to see, maybe, I think I've done it right in the personnel tab. You can take a look and be like, oh, good Lord. But I think it's fine. Any other things that jumped out? We caught there was a couple things we caught in terms of the Eric's budget, right? There was the bond.
Blank lines, yeah. Are there any other
Did we
blank
have-
lines?
Did we fill those in?
Let's see.
Because we knew that was
We
gonna
did.
change his, it was the indebtedness.
Yeah.
We got
It
those
was
numbers in there.
$12,000, I think. Or
Oh, yeah, we
18.
had the West Street bond that we
Right.
weren't sure about.
We're still highlighted here, so are we not sure?
Let's see. West Street, Stone, I think that.
420.
is-
That's the line.
Yeah, because we didn't know if we'd had we didn't have any current because it's
All right, we
in
sort of guesstimated the 18,
Yeah.
basing it on what the previous, okay.
figuring we had the interest payment hadn't showed up on the 12/7 there. Or the 12/8.
well, so the 12,796 was an actual. You're saying that's,
The interest is in, we figured the interest is in the line above, it was coded the wrong line, which puts us up about 18.
okay,
Yeah.
so that, yeah, those two together are the same two, 34 and
Correct.
18,
Yeah,
yes.
so we just, one of them got coded to the wrong line.
Let's see if I can, no, I don't know how to switch. Let me show you something here. I'm gonna stop here for a moment. Okay, so this is part of the capital improvement plan that I've been working on. This might look familiar to you.
Yep.
So on the bond loan list, we have this is the 2019 stormwater bond. And these figures are accurate. I did go through. So we have 18,000 budgeted right now, but it actually should just be this 11,954.
Okay, so what,
Why did the previous years on the budget show $18,000?
I do not know.
so there's the 41,7.
Whoops, sorry.
Backup.
Show us that.
I'm just trying to catch up with numbers is all.
Right.
The number above it, 41,758, can you compare that? Can you have the budget in front of you,
Yeah,
Ian?
Yeah.
So what's the number
That's
above
for
the
the Holly Hall
12,000?
bond.
I
And it was
understand.
41,024.
41,024, so is it possible that? But that's 26.
Yeah, our 2022-23 actual.
Oh no, the other stormwater, 30, I'm on the wrong line, 34 for 22, 3490, 34,920. That's what it is all the way across.
Right.
So that there's $5,000 in that other line, in that line that belongs somewhere else. I was just wondering,
Right, so we've got. Yeah, the 34,920 is an actual from
accurate.
23 to 24.
Yeah.
That was in December.
Yeah.
But we're still missing that. The West Street stormwater bond, that's the number, but. I don't know how it can be 11 because that doesn't match what we've previously done.
Right.
The actual in 21 to 22 is 17,000. So we budgeted 18, but then that came down to 12, but maybe it did. Did it jump?
well, where
down?
did that other 5 go?
Well, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Does that include the interest, Valerie? It
Yes,
must.
it does. Let me, let's see here.
USDA 20.
I have a lot of different tabs.
Yeah,
on there. So that's the amortization schedule. And you can see there's the
and it's
11,954.
only $2,000 interest or $2,500, which is 2.5%. Which the math works.
It was, yes, almost $6,000 and 2,500, so.
What's the numbers way over on the right?
two
Oh, I
pennies.
was over here.
Yeah,
That's what I was futzing around with last week, because these are not formulas. I was actually inputting them from a printout.
okay.
And I was trying to test the formulas because I couldn't figure out how they were calculated.
So,
So,
Valerie, lines 23 and 24 or 22 and 23 are. They were in gonna,
yeah,
so you wanna budget that?
yeah, that's the.
So that's that, the $3,382.28, and then the other two beside that. Are those two interest payments and then the 590.59.77, is that the principal?
No, that's 34, 20, 33 plus 25, 56, 67
Who would pay for that loan?
gives you the 59.77.
Okay,
So you get 2 payments a year.
two payments a
So
year.
59.77 and 59.77 equals 11,954.
So we don't know what the interest is, or is that,
Yeah.
The interest is
the
2518.
Yeah.
It's
Where do you see that
2.5% right in the middle column.
Yeah, that's.
that one right there, yeah.
oh,
Yeah,
2594,
that's the interest
72.
column.
Because it's 2.5%, so.
Okay,
you know,
so the
$10,000 a year.
principal payment is
$2,500.
$3,382.28.
First column is principal, second column is
Oh, okay.
interest.
And the
Third
payments,
column is a total,
So,
That-
yeah,
the total per payment, and then the fourth column is the overall total for that year.
so it's simple interest, it's not. That can't be right.
well, it
That's,
changes the fall, like,
that's what the printout has.
The prin-
I
the interest-
get that, but the interest should go,
it's going down. The second payment's the interest. It's going down, Peter.
yeah,
But
The payment's the same, it's just the
Right.
interest and the,
Right.
yeah, the
The
principal
principal goes up.
increases, yeah. Oh, as long as the bottom number
But
ends up.
but
where-
those, the 11,954, that's our payment.
yeah.
But why have we been paying 18,894?
Like I said, something is definitely either miscoded or
Yeah,
There was
somewhere.
a,
or I should say, we've been budgeting, 21-22, we budgeted 18,894. Actual for 21-22 was 17,590, which still doesn't match the 11,000 in there.
yeah,
Are we overpaying it, or are we just not, are these figures incorrect in the budget sheet?
Again, do we know who we're paying?
Who do we pay for that, Bill?
That's a USDA one, right?
it is USDA.
But it doesn't go to USDA.
It goes to the bond bank.
Bondbank.com.
No, it goes to US Bank.
Yeah, it says US Bank there,
Yeah.
Oh, there you go, good.
Where's the US bank?
right on the left-hand column. Way over.
Oh, no, it says
The other
USDA, oh,
Where's my
no, that's the
laser
Holly
pointer?
Hall one.
They say US Bank, US Bank.
No,
Yeah, there's
this one
three that
says
go to US
USDA.
Bank.
Yeah,
This one says
Yeah,
USDA.
okay.
Yeah.
So here's what they go to.
Sharon's gonna find it.
And this was what I was trying to transcribe into the
Nice.
worksheet, so it's like, took forever. I'm not even done, but
You get chilly?
got enough.
He's
And
See,
that's-
I'm gonna
but
get
This
chilly.
heating is supposed to be 70, but I don't know.
So I believe all the debt figures are now correct in the budget spreadsheet.
So,
So in October 2023.
bye Meredith.
Bye, Meredith, thank you.
Water bond was 45,000, sewer bond was 11,000, and the Holly Hall bond was 39,000. So that's not the right.
Well, these numbers aren't right either. This $10,901.
Well, there's two different on the other side.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm looking at the wrong one. 11,954.
Oh, so there's different bonds that are on each side. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Maybe it's not. One the other side.
She just threw these papers in front of me and I'm saying, these numbers don't match. Oh, yeah, there it is, 11,954. On both
Okay.
of those 20. And then what is this? 30, okay, that one's 33. This is the other one, 33.
Okay, so it seems like we've been over budgeting. Though,
Our actuals
our
are,
actual of 17,590 in 21-22 still doesn't,
And which one was that for? Which bond was that?
that was the USDA West Street Stormwater Bond. Which is the one which is line 17, yes,
Five.
line 17,
No,
Line
on five.
five.
sorry, line 5.
Does that have a GL number?
I can find it on this one here, if I can run high.
Gotta do the right column.
Oh, there it is. Yes, you want the number?
Yes, please.
Okay, so it's 001-10-630-0003. Because it would be great if we could knock that down to
Oh, yeah.
12,000. That would be very nice.
so this number is,
001-106-30-0003.
Yes.
so whatever this other bond payment is, it's not up there because none of those numbers match.
Okay. We made two payments in February 2023. One was for 6101.29, the other one was 3347.12.
Hold on. Can you do the first?
61 what?
6101.29
Mm-hmm.
and 3347.12. One was for water system and one was for stormwater.
That's
We have two
94,
payments over there. And then, yeah. So that's what, 679, that's around.
But that's not the 11,000 though. Was there a third payment that would do that 11,000?
Well, she said one was water and one was sewer.
Right, so there's.
Yeah, so this one here,
One was stormwater, one was water.
Okay.
Yeah,
the storm,
because they
this,
did both over there.
this stormwater one says US Department of Agricultural, Rural Development Annual Statement of Loans and Accounts. And it's 56.63 in interest and 62.90 in principal for a total of 11,994. Not 11,954.
Yeah.
And the previous year was exactly the same. But on the other side, you have another bond payment. The original amount was $567,501.22. And that loan payment is total paid on all loans this year, 30, all right,
That's all loans.
to this account.
Oh, okay.
So the other one, it must be the 21. That must include the 21,802. Let's see, what's it?
That's the 2019 USDA water street water loan, yeah.
21,802.
Yeah,
That's the West Street. That's the,
that's the water.
Okay, that, yeah,
That's the
all
water
right.
piece.
Okay, so it seems like, as you said, Don, it is the 11,000, at least according to that.
According to our payment
But for
records.
some reason,
Yeah, it even shows here that we budgeted 18,894 2 years in a row. The first year, there's nothing.
The 21,802, that comes out of the water,
Mhm.
right? I
Right.
was just curious if maybe the payment got stuck in there, but that's way too much. We're that far over from the 11, we're only over by
Actually,
5.
it didn't come out of water, it came out of this 001, or I wouldn't be seeing it here.
It came out of
Oh.
the
The
wrong account.
6101 for water system bond came out of this West Street stormwater.
There you go.
okay,
So that one should probably be moved over to,
Wow.
they've
Okay.
both payments have been going here,
Oh,
even though it
my.
looks like one probably should have gone to water and,
okay, so that's,
Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute.
I don't know.
Whatever was water down over the hill,
Right,
we paid for out of the
general.
general.
Oh, then maybe that's right.
right, because it was down over the hill, we did that because it was
But
to
that was-
benefit the town.
Was that $500,000 or did we not, or do we need to be?
That's 572,803 is the one that says that's under the water department. That was the original amount. And the stormwater was 259,715.
Yeah, I got that, but what I'm saying is, what is the portion of that we were paying for out of the town?
I thought it was 100,000 for the water over the hill.
In other words, it wasn't intended to be paid by the water district.
Right, it
Right.
was intended to be paid by.
Because it was to benefit,
benefit
it was to
everybody.
benefit the town to be able to have the business park
Business
there.
park
Oh,
there.
Right,
Yeah.
so in other words, this 21,802 was supposed to come out of the general fund?
But probably only a portion of it,
mm,
is what we're saying, is like, so the West Street water bond, which was all of West Street, was one number, and of that, I think it was 100,000. I don't know why that, for the installation of the pipe over the,
Right.
Down to Woodlands.
down to
Down to
Woodlands, was gonna be. So maybe that's why there's 17 in there. Maybe that's why we budget 18 or whatever, because a portion of this payment should be going towards that.
Interesting.
so how do we want to show that then?
Hmm.
In here, because does
I
that
mean,
mean?
that's the way we sold it.
Right. Right, it shouldn't become, part of that should not be coming out of the water.
I went through
Maybe.
the files last week and I didn't see
You might have to
I
do,
didn't
we
see
might have
notes
to,
to that in there.
our minutes.
You'd have to go back to our minutes when we, because when we first started that project, we were sold a bill, not sold a bill of goods, but we were told that probably gonna get 50 to 100% of that for USDA, and then we ended up, you
We
know,
were supposed to get 50% forgiveness.
then we didn't get any.
Mhm.
And then we said, well, we're not going to put that on the water department's users, it's going down over the hill, which benefits the whole town.
Well, do you want to, let me, do you wanna just?
We didn't
go
pay,
back?
we didn't pay a portion of that with the proceeds from the sale.
We talked about this budgeting
Mhm.
at this point.
Were you
So
asking?
that, I'm asking, so that we didn't have the ongoing debt. Remember I asked last meeting about paying off some bond and we said it was the South Street Bridge, which I knew we paid on.
Right, yeah.
But did we pay that
Hang on. Hang on.
out of the proceeds of
Proceeds
land?
from the
Did we
sale?
pay that $100,000?
Might have.
Yeah, hang on, I can tell you. In a minute.
That was part of the student. I mean, we would have voted on that bond payment. That bond in what, 2018? Because 2019, we did the bond, but probably would have been in either March of 2019 or.
Well, we did the West
March of
Street in
2018.
60, but the down over the hill, we didn't do,
We did West Street in 2016?
I think it's 16 or 17.
Yeah.
Must have been 17, because I think it was going on when I started here.
Well, in the January 13th, 2020 minutes, there's mention of USDA fund of 18,894 moving from general fund Holly Hall to the stormwater public works budget, which is exactly that budgeted item in line 420, 18,894. So what does that mean?
It was moved from where to where?
It's USDA fund of 18,894 moving from general fund Holly Hall to stormwater public works budget. This was January 13th, 2020.
Mhm.
And it was USDA fund of 18,894, which was that budgeted amount that year, moving from general fund Holly Hall to the stormwater public works budget. That's all it says. I mean, in the video, it probably would have a discussion. Do you remember why that was moved? Because
Maybe it was
that's
put
the
in the wrong
amount.
place. Might have been put in the wrong spot.
I guess so, but yeah, but that's
They
it.
said that Holly Hall,
Yeah,
From Holly Hall.
moving from general fund Holly Hall to stormwater public works budget. So there's some reason why.
So it's probably for the water, it's probably to cover that portion of the water.
Okay.
going over the hill.
Oh, why would it say Holly Hall?
Cause it's
Well, general fund, I think
Ah,
that's
okay.
how
Thank you.
what we call it, how people mentioned it.
I'm not finding what I was looking for, so. I'm not sure where to look.
Okay. well,
Was that when we bought the property, was in 2016? Was that when we sold it, I should say?
Sometime around there, because 17, we did, Sharon says and I think she's right, we did the West Street. We built the fire station. It'll be,
There was a bunch of
60%.
hoops to jump through to be
We
able
couldn't
to
have
sell
sold
the
it, we
land.
couldn't have sold it until after we did the water. We couldn't have sold it to them really, until after we did the water, because we had to get rid of the.
We
safety
cut the
space.
trees and did everything down over the hill, so.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I would think, given that we don't have an answer to this yet, I might be tempted to leave that at 18.
I would,
Yeah.
that's what I was
Since
thinking.
we need to find
I'd
out.
love to cut it, but I don't. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
Leave it for now. And Well, let's get.
Yeah, and that may, you know, that year it was fresh in our head and apparently somebody erased, must be Ian erased Valerie's note, so he had it set in my head every time he was there.
Hey, I can go back on the version maybe.
I just kidding. But I think
Yeah,
if we made that adjustment at a meeting,
yeah,
it's
We
gotta
go
be
through
to
it.
cover
we
that.
can look at the video too. That'll maybe have more explanation. If we need that. Okay. Anything else?
So just to clear my head up, I don't know if I'll ever clear that up.
No.
So maybe
So
that.
the
maybe-
41 was a payment and out of that 18 is billed to the town?
So that could be what happened there. That $5,000 could have gone on the wrong line. That $5,000 could have just been coded on the wrong line.
Instead of 12,796. it
Yeah,
should have
because
been
if you
18.
take the difference,
Hmm.
it's what it's supposed to be. Which is
Looking
what
at
we
the bottom-
figured out,
Looking at the bottom line.
is what we figured out last meeting.
5,977.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's in here, but somebody made an adjustment to it.
So that said, that could be why those numbers, why that 12,000 numbers.
So then maybe we should make it to 18,894 like the other years are.
Like,
And then
The
next year we
meeting.
can be like, why did we move that to 18,894?
Yeah, I think you're right, Michelle. I
I think
think,
we should take that 18.
I mean, if we had an actual, I mean, I guess we don't have an actual, because nothing's been paid.
Except.
well,
we
it
have in
wouldn't even
minutes.
matter because if it didn't get moved,
Oh, it still could be an incorrect.
it would be somewhere else.
I see.
But there's somewhere else, there should be a $5,000 decrease in what was paid.
Mm.
We should be getting this.
Then
We
what
should be
was,
what?
We should be getting a new bill.
Oh,
there should be a $5,000, in one of those lines should be $5,000 shy, wherever that money
Mm.
came from. So it's probably where is the water line? Where is the water line?
It would be in the water budget.
Okay,
But the West Street stormwater bond is 0 for 23-24. Does that mean we're not
Actual.
the actual? We haven't paid it yet?
Haven't paid it yet.
No,
Because
looks
it-
like we get it for February payment.
What was it last year?
The stormwater part was 33
Yeah, you've got it right
47.
over
The
there.
water system bond was 6101.
11,
11.
right here. 11,954, which is where Valerie got that number, but the 18 reflects, I think the 18 reflects the money we're taking out of the,
It's
Yeah,
like, okay, I need to either start writing this stuff down.
Yeah.
that we're paying
that's
on
Mhm.
the water side of it.
Just need to make sure I document that.
But what I'm trying to say is,
Yeah.
if we know that payment's coming, Sharon, and people are gonna look at this page, and many pages in the town report, should we at least adjust that at town meeting, where it says 0 there now? On line 420?
No,
It will.
we just explained to them that we haven't gotten the bill yet, the statement yet.
Well, we may have it by March, town meeting,
Or maybe.
Oh,
We don't have it
We
today.
can't change it.
huh?
If we know what it's going to be, we can just plug it in.
Well, that's what I was asking,
Oh, I
but we
see.
don't know what it's gonna be, right? Yeah.
No, I haven't seen one yet.
And we don't know where that other $5,000 is going. We need to cipher that out.
I'll look at the January 13th meeting of 2020, just to see that discussion, because maybe that will shed some light. Jen was here at that time, so. Let's see if maybe she mentioned it.
Well, I think it would have been our decision.
No, but I mean,
Because I know we were.
she was at the
looking-
meeting, so like, we always be having
Yeah.
discussions with her as treasurer, so.
Okay, all right.
Hold on, Dolly, don't brace it.
It's right there. It's all added up for you, right underneath 53,814,
Right, I-
53,820.
Plus 12,796. So that is 53 minus 53,814. Yeah, it's around $6,000. We still, okay.
That we don't know where it's going.
Right.
Yeah.
Any other budget stuff?
Well, the only other
Specifics.
loose end would be to circle back on the lister's proposal.
I
Uh,
also have a question,
Oh,
and I think it was brought up before, but I don't know. I believe starting July first, we've never paid unemployment insurance. And we're gonna have to start July first. Usually we just pay when somebody files for unemployment. But I believe there was a change in the law that started July first, we're gonna have to pay quarterly whether we want to or not.
So we can't self-insure anymore.
I don't believe so, and I believe it's July first. I think I saw something on it, I just don't remember.
Do we have a number for that?
No, I have no idea what it would be, because we don't pay that much. Typically,
Isn't it for?
We've had to
2%
pay,
on salaries? On your.
It's a calculation, I mean, and I don't know if it depends on how many claims you have or not. It's just
Yeah, it
based
does.
on- Yeah, so if you're,
That
if
raises
you don't
it.
have any claims, then it won't be high, if you have more, the more claims you have, the higher the percentage
well,
is.
we won't have any claims
Right, we
because
won't
we
have any.
paid them all ourselves.
yeah.
So we'll be the lowest rate possible,
think-
but it's still
It's still a percentage of what your
expense.
your total
Yeah.
expenses are, your total salaries are.
So we're gonna have to put that in this budget somewhere, if that's the case.
I believe that came out a little bit ago. Don't
Yeah,
remember where.
yeah, that's ringing a bell. I'm doing a quick word search on some files here.
Top of my head when you were talking about workers' comp.
What do we pay in salaries? What's that total salaries for all of our employees?
Valerie has it on her spreadsheet.
What was that?
What's our total salaries of all of our employees? Million and a half?
Off the top of my head, I don't know.
including all benefits. 1.2
That includes benefits or not,
includes benefits.
like health insurance and stuff.
One point two six seven, 784. That's this year's budgeted. For what, the budget that we're currently working on.
A new employer, 1% tax rate.
What's the reimbursement? Municipal entities have either a taxable or reimbursable entity. %.
Is there a federal unemployment tax? Also subject to federal.
So we've never paid it, so we would be the new customer, right? Reimbursable. Newly
Sure, this is a
registered.
memo
with
from
the state.
September.
Oh, we found it.
Yeah.
Reimbursable employee owners who newly registered in the state are not required to pay state and federal unemployment taxes. Are exempt from any quarterly contributions, must pay back to state and full for any unemployment claims that arise.
So
that us?
That's us, yeah. That's the way we've been doing it. We just have paid it ourselves and not through the state. So it looks like we don't.
Looks like, yeah.
We don't have to pay it, or we do?
It doesn't, we would have to pay it if somebody claimed.
We're required to report our quarterly wages.
Which I think we already do.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm assuming we already have to do that.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
already do that.
We're not required to pay federal unemployment
Right.
taxes.
Yeah, I
Are
think we're
exempt
on
from quarterly contributions to the state, must pay back the state in full for any unemployment claims that arise associated with individuals. Oh, that was good.
it.
What do you do?
Arise associated with individuals which are employed by their group. You're required to report. I say I
think we're
don't think
good.
we have to change anything.
I just did a quick,
I can't see further down, so. I don't know.
I just did a quick
It's on the next page.
calculations. If we had to pay the 1%, what Ian told me it was 1.2, it's $12,000. We'd have to budget for employment tax.
Regardless of whether we have any claims.
I don't think I figure, I don't think we have to, but if we did have to budget for it, it's 12 grand. We'd have to budget.
Well, Pinker says we don't have to do it, so I believe
Yeah, I don't think we
him.
do. Reading this, I don't think we do.
He said it at a public meeting, and,
And now it's on the internet, so it's gotta be true.
And it's truth. You Google it, it's true.
it's true. Okay,
Listers? Yeah, my screen just froze.
I'll figure it out. Yeah, I said,
Take a
I'll figure
look
it
at
out. IT department.
all right.
For us, IT stands for it ain't very good at it.
Okay, so let's see here.
We're looking at listers.
Let's see.
I have the documents that you sent and shared with us.
Did you want to do that in open session or?
Well, we agreed on an increase, correct?
We were discussing it, and we wanted to look at the number of hours
The actual.
before
number.
looking at,
Oh, you,
before
yeah,
looking at the
And I emailed
proposal.
that out this afternoon.
And we have this. We can do that in executive, I guess, because
Yeah.
it's personal information.
So that would be the last variable in the budget.
What about the police budget? Do we need to
Oh,
revisit
right.
that?
Nothing's changed since the last time we reviewed it.
Can you throw that up?
You mean put it on the screen.
Yeah, don't vomit it out, sorry. Can you put that on the screen?
Yes.
And then we'll need to just look at personnel tab in executive as well.
Yep.
To go through those numbers.
How you doing? You still with us, Daryl?
Are you gonna look at
You're
the
muted.
drawings?
You're muted. Just
Okay.
give me a thumbs up, that's all right.
I'm still here. I'm able to follow most of the conversation.
Thank you.
Okay, yes, we'll look at the warnings after we've done.
Oh, right.
We'll,
Before you go in executive.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll do,
Capital funds and unassigned
yes,
leftovers.
leftovers.
We'll do leftovers.
And Joe, you're running unopposed, so.
I am running
Oh,
up
you're gonna get it. You don't have to worry now.
I don't know.
No.
Could be a
It
big
could be a
write-in.
massive write-in.
Big write-in campaign.
Till Sharon calls me Monday or Tuesday night or Wednesday and says you want that.
So there's.
And there's two for the other seat.
It's fine.
It'll be a nail biter.
Yeah.
So there's the police department budget, revenues up 4.6%. Which is just not about listers.
We.
Executive session, because we wanted to find out about the hours and then
Okay.
we can discuss it. Okay. 4.6.
And potential impact. This grand list figure has not been updated, unlike the other one for the general fund. I don't have that working figure yet for the police district.
So the percentage could actually go down.
Yes, it could. And
It should.
Yeah.
Should be.
Yeah,
That's
because we
it.
had
Did
it.
you ask the listers or?
If it's on the 411 form, maybe it's already there and I just didn't see it. But no, I did not think to ask the listers at.
I don't know, yeah, because there's a code in the grand list that says which ones are police
Police
district.
district.
Correct. I mean, like Firehouse Drive should be all police district. So they'll have,
Actually, half of Firehouse Drive is in the district, half, the new building, all earth removals is not. The district line goes right there, right behind the fire station.
We should update that district line.
We should at least expand the district to include Firehouse Drive.
Yeah.
Including the
The business part.
business.
Yeah.
Especially since there might be calls for service
Correct.
at that end of the street.
How's that done?
I was just gonna say, how do you do that?
Have hearings, same with the water district. You have to have you announce the public hearing and notify
Put
the.
that on the back of the list here, things to do.
Oh, I'm just telling Ian to put it on his list. He's keeping a running list.
I got other stuff and then horse,
Horse.
ordinance,
Horse
fence.
policy,
And
no,
then,
livestock.
livestock.
Keep adding to that list.
Yeah, no, that's not gonna work.
And that's
Critter containment. You gotta have a critter containment ordinance.
So these grand list figures, I don't believe are included in the town report, so.
Grand list,
Can-
printed it out in there.
Sharon, can you get us a number? Can you do that? Using your magic skills?
He is magic.
No, I'm doing the list out in the whole grand list book.
And count them?
And also, I'm looking at the police district warning and the dates need to be updated. The grand list date.
Get your new truck on where you're cutting.
We'll sit
Trapped in here.
86.
That's three or the other. Because I was going something.
Is it like
Didn't
your
want to get something. Yeah, we went away.
So I was like, I'll tell him about-
But it's fine, we'll
No.
probably be triaxle when we get
If I did like
done.
a split the total.
Nobody.
That's right, yeah.
At least 20%. Let's see.
What was it before?
All right, so we want to include all firehouse drive and the business park.
Yeah, I'm not, I have the sheet that they gave me and I don't see it there.
Yeah, let's see.
All right, well, we just need to make sure that it gets updated.
Yeah. But you're right, that should change a tiny bit.
Every little bit helps.
No, it's true. Okay. The unassigned funds,
Right, so, did you
No,
wanna
sorry.
vote
It
to,
might say in the back of the book, if you can find it, Joel.
did you wanna vote on the budget, this budget, get it out of the way?
We can't, oh, this budget.
Ian said, yeah.
yes,
Oh, the police district, you're talking about the police
Yes.
district
Correct.
budget.
With the understanding that the grand list,
The grand list
the
number
grand
will
list number will be
change.
updated. I'll make that motion.
second.
So, sorry, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion
For the police district budget.
for the police district budget? Yep. Is there any other discussion before we vote? Everybody's good? All right, all those in favor?
Sorry, hold on
Hold
one
on, I'm
second.
sorry.
Joel was getting the lister's book. We were voting to approve the police district budget.
Oh,
With the
With the
caveat.
understanding that,
453,
What's that?
looks like it might be 1392453, 1,392,453.
so that changed.
637 taxable parcels,
1-3, what was that, Sharon?
97,
92,
oh, 92, sorry.
453. It looks like. Did you find it, Joel?
I've got the grand list from last year, so not yet, I haven't. Worked one of these in years, so I won't bother. This won't be as accurate, so.
Well, we just verify that and
Okay,
Yeah, I'll verify it with them tomorrow.
Okay.
This is the report number 3, which I believe is the.
Ah.
The grand list is
for
growing.
the police district.
okay,
Grand
I'll
list is
double check with
growing.
them tomorrow.
super.
So what's that to be raised by taxes, 5.1?
479.
yeah, 5.1 up.
Increase in that.
So the amount to be raised by taxes would be 479,461.
The 5 point.
Okay, so we
So the
said,
budget number, the,
Grand list
That would
grew
be
by
the budget number.
1.7%.
all right,
Move
Sorry,
us
darling.
along, darling.
Okay, so are we all set? So we have a motion and we have a
Yep.
second. All right, we've had some other discussion, which is good. All those in favor?
all right,
Alright,
great.
Anyone opposed? Okay, Thank you very much.
All right. So unassigned funds?
No, we'll do, capital funds first.
Right.
That's all budget stuff.
Yeah.
And then we can decide,
Mhm.
then we can decide if we wanna bolster.
Okay.
Yeah, let me, you.
You just bring up the warning?
For the police district,
No, for the capital funds.
the warning, oh,
Cause that's where we're gonna
Okay.
plug those numbers in.
right, right.
Well, we wanna see what they're, what do you, we wanna know what the total of each capital fund is, or are we just looking at what the numbers are we're currently putting in there? We gotta tell Val what we wanna look
Yeah,
at.
that's true.
Well, what's in the warning was basically what's last year's numbers.
Right,
So, let me share.
Which is these, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
about your appropriations, yeah.
So. Okay. So, this shows the allocations anticipated for this year based upon last year. But what is helpful is going up and looking at the capital plans to see if those numbers are adequate. And for the fire department, we went through that, I think, last week or 2 weeks ago, and they're in pretty good shape. Highway stuff, could use a little love. So this is the highway capital equipment, got some things on the horizon. And based upon the current allocations, we're looking at some thin numbers.
No, we're not gonna be buying stuff if we're putting us in the negative.
Right, well, that's where, if you wanna put
If you
extra
wanna
money.
bolster, yeah.
That's the point. And then capital roads,
Can we go back up to the list? A
Yeah.
little bit?
so you reviewed this list with Eric,
Right,
just a little while ago. And some of the things aren't filled in.
one of the ones I think we need to have the equipment committee do a really good long search on it is. I'm trying to find the line 40, replace the 2004 John Deere loader. Is that
We
the loader?
already did it.
We did that,
have a
no,
brand new
not, okay, I'm sorry, Peter, hold on, before you bite my head off.
one. Well.
Where, I thought it was the John Deere, the mowing tractor,
No,
the big mowing tractor.
no.
Cause I didn't see that on there, but I mean, that's in excellent shape, that's why I said that.
No, the loader we
You did replace the
replaced
loader,
last
okay.
year.
I saw the word John Deere and
John Deere down the 8 foot wide, oh no.
got some
the
room
pickup
for,
room.
he proposed that to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, and,
Yeah, that is not in the replacement schedule at this point,
right.
so it's out beyond 2029.
Right,
That's a
and it
good
should-
thing.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
It'd be $500,000 by the time we have to replace it.
so capital roads, we have a number of projects that we know about that we have some funding gaps for. And so this gives you a picture of the stuff we know about. So we're pretty thin there too. Oops. So capital roads could use some help. Capital paving seems to be pretty good from what we know.
I'd like to add a little to that capital paving. I'd like to add 15,000, make that 150,000. Just,
You mean annually?
well, this year, undesignated. If we had some money left over, I'd like to put it in some paving.
Well, those
That'll
are,
help us,
that's
that'll help us
all,
with the streets that we're going to start.
so the
repairing.
numbers came in really high for Pine Street. And one of the suggestions I made to Eric was when he presented, to present it with, the base coat in one fiscal year and the top coat in the next,
Oh, I asked,
because we're gonna grind it.
I asked that question to Steve or someone else, the water department, and it's hard to do because of the of the shut offs.
It's no different than, you know, if you're gonna put 2 inches in, they make 2-inch risers, so.
Okay,
It's
you
not-
put the second set of risers in,
Yeah,
okay.
you'd go through and put the
Right.
risers in. You wouldn't leave them sticking up for.
No, I like that concept, Peter. I just
And
asked.
then, the other thing that would do is if there's anywhere that it didn't get compacted correctly, or
Another year to settle.
we do our stormwater and we have
Fix
an
them up.
issue, we can
Okay,
correct that before we put the top layer on. Or, you know, if there's a spot that settles just a little bit, when they
Right,
go
you know,
down through, it'll take it
I
out.
understand. I was worried about
But that's a decision
the
to
code
make
boxes.
down the road. I told him it was not a decision to make while we were budgeting.
Yeah, going back up to the capital roads and talking about Pine Street, the drainage improvements that we talked about are not included in this capital budget, which are a pretty hefty figure to not only the materials, but also the equipment to move it, put them in place and all that stuff.
Which I'm hoping that our estimate was a little high, but
Mm.
until we actually get doing it, we won't know.
Well,
Right,
the question ultimately comes up to, is the 45,000 enough every year to put in there? Do we need?
I would say
that
not.
number?
not by a long shot.
I mean, because we're gonna be doing the water lines on other roads, we're gonna have to pave them, you know, all that stuff, so. Do we need to up just the annual contributions?
Well, we did. I mean, it was 40,
Well, I know, but
Yeah.
obviously that's not enough.
No, I know. but we did it to 45.
A drop in the ocean.
I mean, it is 40 now, I guess, and so we're changing it to 45.
I think it was 45.
45 last
45,
year.
yeah, last year.
Oh, yes, sorry.
No, I think it should be more like 145,000.
All right, I'll type that in.
I like your
Yeah.
thinking, Valerie, I really do.
Well, you look at the numbers though. and
Right.
we
Well, I
know
guess we
what's on
gotta
the
have that
horizon.
conversation. I don't disagree with you, but we've got only so much and where do we wanna put it? Do we
Right.
wanna really get serious with our
Right.
infrastructure?
Right.
Well, no, I'm
With
not
our
talking
buildings?
about the unassigned funds, I'm just talking about
Yeah.
the annual
Tax dollars.
contributions, you know, like we looked at the fire department and said, we're gonna have to up this because the vehicles are getting more expensive,
Right.
you know, so we up the annual, so we're at that point now, it's like, we need to up this because we aren't.
Well,
keeping up.
I'm thinking up it with tax dollars here
Yeah,
by 50,000 and maybe 50,000 out of the undesignated fund.
Mhm.
And then we'll reevaluate it next year. Try to reach in and get 25 or 30 from the third.
And then there also might be certain funds that are doing quite healthy and don't need, maybe they can skip a year of infusion, maybe.
of a boost. Yes.
Yeah. And I say that looking at the sidewalks fund, which is currently quite healthy, which is great.
Yeah, well,
What is it
Well,
got in
well,
it? What's it
actually,
got
well,
in it?
Depends on what we choose to do. I
What's it
mean,
got in it,
Can
Valerie?
rearrange some of these projects. Don't have to do them all at once. We can spread them out. But the point being that we put a fair amount in it each year. And because we haven't used it in a couple of years or
Yeah,
skipped a year.
we've come a
projects.
long ways from the $10,000 we used to put in it.
Yeah, yeah, and we're gonna have more grant money available for these kinds of things.
so right now, there's 87,000 in there.
Correct.
Feeling.
Which really,
We've got some big
which really
projects.
won't go far if we do.
Right, so that's why I'm saying we can rearrange some of these, projects. Although grants typically don't fund sidewalk maintenance.
Right.
Yeah, replacing an existing sidewalk, unless it's like a complete rebuild or something. Or ADA accessibility kind of stuff.
So Valerie, if we just stayed status quo, what was our tax increase this year? If we just said we're gonna put 40 like we did last year, 45 in the capital. What was the other one that Ian said we had last
So,
year?
let's see.
Capital paving or, no, not paving.
You mean based on the budget, what would the tax?
Right, if we
percentage
just said we're gonna
increase
keep
was?
the same things.
Yeah. Hang on, let me pull that up. Probably should have scrolled down to the bottom before doing this, so I don't get
So you didn't have to
seasick.
make us dizzy.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just keep my
Just
head
close your
down.
eyes.
I just keep my head down, drink my water.
Yeah. So without the other adjustments we're likely to make.
It's not 5.1, or those numbers aren't in there yet.
So total supported by taxes is a 5.1% increase.
And you've already put in those, what we put in last year's capital.
Yeah, that's all in here.
That's all in there. So now if we add to that,
It's gonna go up.
that 5.1s could go.
If you're using something other than the undesignated.
Right.
But so I think there might be the argument that some of them should go up a little bit, just so that we're working on it.
Well, we can type in some numbers and see how that changes. Like if we're at 45,000 now for Capitol Road, if we put that to 55 or 60,
Mhm.
we can see how that changes everything.
Are they all together in one spot?
Yeah,
Yeah,
right
they're
there.
there.
So,
And we can see
So are
what
we
we,
happy with the the equipment fund is 135, sidewalks is 40.
no, the equipment fund 135. Did Michelle's,
Capital fire equipment, 25. Capital fire vehicle, 125. Which is up 25 from last year, which was planned.
you know,
Capital building, no. Technology fund, 7.
we just stayed the same. I asked for an additional 7 from unassigned from last year.
capital building,
Maintenance, 30. Capital roads, 45. Reappraisal, 15.
By the way, we're gonna be tapping into that capital building and maintenance fund in a big way to, initially at least, to repair the roof here and also replace the front porch at the library. So that's.
I mean, so the one that we need it most, looking at the SIP, SIP plan is Capital Roads.
Roads, yes.
That's the biggest one. So I would recommend bumping that.
By 10, or do you want to go more?
I mean, we could,
I'd go
I think we
20?
can
at
go.
least 50,000, go up 30, up from 30 to 50.
It's 45.
it's 45.
45.
Oh,
was-
okay.
It was 40.
Ian just put it up to 55.
What would you like that?
Yeah, capital building and maintenance fund, right? 50.
No,
Right
it's
where,
not
right
capital
where the
road.
blue
Road.
little T is.
Capital Road first, just because that was the one I said that needs
Okay,
the
sorry.
most.
The buildings fund is in pretty good shape.
Yeah,
Yeah, but if we're dipping into it for the library here, it's not
Yeah,
that
so we'll
big.
still be in good shape afterwards. But it's good to have it, and as an aside, as you'll notice in the draft warning, I had proposed
That's
this
7?
last week or so,
I'm just
about
curious.
the Hewitt Road purchase. And using that capital buildings fund
Or
to
does that
finance
change
it.
the bottom line?
As far as the building fund is concerned, Valerie, wouldn't some of that,
So it takes about
whoops, sorry,
point.
wouldn't some of the things that you were just talking about, the roof and, I don't know about the porch, but the roof would be covered up by our insurance, correct?
Right, yeah, it would ultimately, well, $1,000 deductible,
Hopefully.
yeah.
So Ian brought that up to 70,000, that takes us to a 6% increase. I mean, so that tells you what.
Yeah.
What,
It went 5.16, right?
yeah,
I was thinking the capital equipment is the other one that might need some help.
Right.
well, we can do some undesignated
Yeah.
and unassigned,
look-
undesignated leftovers, whatever. you-
Yeah, looking at the numbers, Capital Roads Fund, that's the one that has the highest figures attached to it over the next,
Yeah.
not a short amount of years.
Right.
5 years.
And expenses are only gonna increase over
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, so what did you add to that?
He added third,
45,
25.
45 to 70. I just typed it, that was just the number I wanted to
Yep.
see, just because.
So
it's-
25 grand.
Yeah,
How about if we, I'd like to get that just under 6. If we put 65 in it and when we get through this 200.
We will be under, we will be under 6 if the grand list goes up at all.
yeah.
Right, sure, you're right, Peter.
You've got that current number in there though for this
Mhm.
piece. Yeah, so that one's not gonna change.
Not gonna change for the paperwork.
For the general.
I don't know what 1/10% means. I mean,
No, I agree.
25,000 was 0.9%. So roughly, well, so it must be 20, we must still be about 26,000 for a penny, so.
I would just leave it.
I would too. If there's none
I
others.
mean, can we-
Adjust, can we go back to the,
Can we,
To the what? The
to the
appropriations.
appropriations?
can we at least say, Sharon, I'll ask you this question, Sharon. The police district gray list grew by how many thousands?
But
Not
she's
even
already
that.
plugged it in here. She has the accurate number for
You
the,
had
For the general
town,
one.
you had the town one, but not the,
Mhm.
oh, you had the town
'Cause
one,
it's
but you
everything.
didn't have the police district.
Right.
Okay, all right, I was just gonna add that to,
Mhm.
okay.
No,
so is there
I wish we
anything
could.
else there that we think we wanna change? The sidewalks, we decided we could leave the same.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think all the others, looking at
Are halfway decent.
Val's SIP spreadsheet, are in pretty good shape, but it's, here's the advantage of using the unassigned funds to be able to bump those up.
Where's the cemetery fund? Oh,
Down to bottom.
reserve
That's,
fund.
I don't, that, we're just not putting anything in there,
No.
but I think we should probably put some unassigned funds there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think that's a good idea, considering the damage they just incurred.
well,
That's Greenwood.
yeah.
Oh, that's
But-
Greenwood.
But-
But
Could come back on us.
the cemeteries we do manage, there has been damage there as well, so.
If we're happy with that, then we can move on to the undesignated
Yeah,
fund.
I think I would leave that there.
Okay, so. I'm gonna stop sharing for a moment. And try to fix this view.
You make it, Darla?
It almost sounds like she's laughing.
It's gotta go away pretty soon, right?
I don't know.
One would hope.
Somebody at our office had it for like 3 weeks.
My wife had almost a week.
This is 15 days.
Trying to get the columns so they're legible. Okay, let's see how this goes. Zoom. Share screen. So that's the number from the auditor.
And you talked about, Peter, at the top of the meeting, maybe bumping that up, doing a little bit more than 5%, is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, you know,
You wanna have it at 200?
I was thinking 190 or 200.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, out of the $246,000, $10 shy of, yeah, we spend only about 150 of it. That's what
I mean, that'll be a little more than 5%. They want us carrying more than 5%. That was their recommendation. But we've always been good with 5%. Actually, I don't, and you know, I think it's a credit to our department heads. It's not our budgeting, that they don't spend all their money.
Right.
So I'm cautious about getting too close in the event that.
Too excited that we can
Something
use
happened and.
Yeah. So for reference, last year, we did, this is from unassigned, we did 16,000 to the capital building fund. We also did that name change. So it's the capital building and maintenance fund. We moved 16,000 unassigned. We did 10,000, not 7, as I previously said, to the capital technology fund from unassigned. We did 10,000 to the cemetery fund. So that would have been in that line there.
We spent some of that, I'm sure.
And
Trees, we took the trees on Harvey, Harsh gravel, right, bigger,
Right.
Ernie Cemetery.
so those are the only 3 that we did from
Yeah,
unassigned.
because we didn't think we had a lot. I would, I
We,
guess,
we knew from 2021, but it wasn't that high a number, and with the 5%, and we may have even done more than that, that's what we did. So we have 200,000 potentially that we can use. Do we want to put anything more into the capital road fund, given?
I would say I was gonna start with the low hanging fruit and the cemetery. If we put another 10 there,
Sure.
Yeah, I was
that
thinking-
leaves us 190.
I'd like to put 10 or 10 in the sidewalk. I realize we think it's healthy, but
Well, potentially more, though.
yeah,
We
right
have
now,
our plan.
Mhm.
And there's
But we're-
definitely a
we're-
lot on there.
Good for right now, so if we put 10 there, we would be,
Well, we didn't do any,
didn't do any last year.
No.
so.
and so I wonder how much, but there's only so much we could accomplish in the year.
we have a schedule. And I mean, the 10 is gonna keep us in the black.
We'll have almost 100,000 if we wanted to spend it all. Not that we're going, but if we-
Yeah,
if they came in, usually when they come in, whoa, we can't afford all that. About
so
25
we're
in
only
the capital.
putting 40,000 in. Well, I guess,
How about 25? in the
We can
paving?
come back and up that
Yeah.
if we need to. Let's just
I
figure
don't
out
know,
what
I
else
just-
is somewhere else.
walking around town, I mean, especially after the rain, and there's a lot that have sitting water.
Getting somebody
a
to
lot.
agree to do it is really the difficult
No,
part.
I know, that's,
Yeah.
I know, like, we can have the money, but then not find anyone.
Right.
You know what we ought to do in April? Instead of having a road trip, we ought to have a sidewalk trip. We've had it.
Go for a walk,
yeah.
Crystal.
Get some exercise and do it.
After it's rained, and then we can.
I'll bring my golf carts. I figured I could ride.
That's
roller
6
coasters.
inches. So you think, what was the number for, so 10
I
for
ju-
sidewalk?
Yeah, I
For
just,
starters, we just,
Yeah,
starters.
yeah,
how
we're,
about starters for paving, at least 15? I was thinking 20 or 25. It is 25, it is going up all the time.
we'll do 30.
I was thinking 30.
okay,
Okay,
30.
Well, given that with the cost for Pine Street, right?
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I mean, we
Yeah.
just can't keep up.
Valerie, you said the capital.
We go
building
backwards and
fund
just
is-
go back to dirt roads, roads that work.
Capital
My
building.
road's fine. For now.
Give it a little cushion, give it 5 to the building fund.
Do you
No,
want to put the
I-
tech fund in there? And
Yeah,
what about the reappraisal fund?
She said that's really healthy. I whispered to her. She
I
said,
mean, I would say the
Well-
building fund, we probably should put, we got a bunch of stuff at the library.
yeah,
We don't know, we're gonna incur some expense in, permitting and that.
No, for the public works
Yeah.
facility,
Mm.
right?
So maybe I would, you
And
know,
if we're paying
25 or 30
the
in there, maybe?
Lathrop. Mhm,
figure.
Stuff out of there
30,
too.
25 or
Mhm.
30 in there.
I would, yeah.
I'm hoping that that last column on the top, capital roads.
Well, we got 150 left, so 30 is gonna leave you 120.
Well, I was gonna put 100 up the top of capital.
So
roads.
put 100 up there and then we'll divvy
Yeah,
the rest
that'll
up.
double the rest up.
Yeah, well, yeah, but think about this. We have the Lathrop property, not only to do the permitting, but pay the analysis.
17.
Site 17 plus the annual payment.
Well, that's
We have to pay.
$50,000, 50,326. You want more than that?
In the capital building.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out.
No,
what
yeah,
else we
no,
have.
I totally agree.
I mean, unless we're gonna budget a line item in his.
But we'd hope,
In his.
department heads have always been good.
That payment
I
amount.
think we would.
If we had 50 to 75,000 just in 23's audit. We don't know that number yet, would be nothing, but look at what we haven't filled some positions, we may have some extra in 23, we're just not
What do you
spending.
got here, capital building?
Yeah, but I'm
So-
just saying, we've got the 17, which is the deposit.
Right there. And then the annual payments,
The
again,
annual
I
payment,
calculate
But,
there.
right, and that's the one that I said, do we need to put a line item,
I
for
would
this year
say-
in the.
Well, not this year because the
No, I
voters
said
have
after
to
this
vote,
year,
yeah.
After this year,
Line
and the
item
DB,
where?
I'd like this,
and the public works
I'd
as a
like,
payment.
I'd like
that
to
makes
see it go
sense.
into public works.
Oh.
Eric's budget is really good this year. I think a 2% increase. I'd like to see what a 17.5 or 18,000 put in his budget for land purchase.
So you're,
Put it under the department, it goes in, not.
I
on-
would say we can't do that until we get voter approval to buy the land.
Okay, then next year possibly
Next
we can
year,
look at
yes.
that. Okay,
Interesting, that actually hadn't thought about how,
Because to me, it's a
Assigning
loan
debt.
payment.
it's a loan payment,
It's a loan
just
payment.
like Brett's loan payment comes out of his budget.
yeah, but in a way, you're financing it, through your
But general,
Capital.
but yeah,
capital fund.
through the capital fund might be the way to do it as opposed
That's what
to,
that,
Yeah.
Building it will definitely come out.
that would be a
And a
bond.
bond plus some
Yeah.
out of the capital to
Right.
reduce the bond payment.
Can we put another 10 in technology, please?
So
What do you-
that's-
How much we got in it right now? I wanna,
Before we leave Capitol Building, I just wanted
Yeah.
to show you that, given what we had, at least are thinking on the horizon, these are the balances going forward.
Right, so we definitely need,
And I put in 30,000 for the site analysis
yeah,
for public
which
works.
should be, yeah.
I would do, I
Yeah,
mean,
we're still fairly healthy, so.
Library painting, then porch.
the library's
replacement
gonna
might be-
require a lot, there's a bunch of stuff wrong with the library.
There are also some
Just
grants
deferred
out
maintenance.
there for library.
Right, which but we don't wanna
hopefully-
rely on those though.
No.
I
So
don't-
let's check the technology and see where we are as far as money and that.
Oh, let me get, okay.
The technology has, well, if we did, it was 7 and then it was the 10, so that was 17, but then I don't know what.
3 or 4
Yeah.
computers. or
I know.
something, too.
And there's, the reason I'm bumping that up is because we're gonna get to a point where we really need to do things and I want the money to be there.
Technology, what's in it right now?
Is that,
1,000.
That includes this year's allocation.
and if we just stay at 7, you're gonna be at 52 by 2029.
No,
which is
no.
fine.
Yeah, but we
Yeah.
don't, we're gonna be spending.
No, I
that.
realize
And
that.
we've spent maybe 5,000.
Ian, could you be happy with 7,500 instead of 10?
No, he's saying out of the
Undesignated.
unassigned funds to add to it, not up it.
Yeah,
Not this, yeah. Well, I was thinking, yeah, out of the undesignated 7,500.
oh,
So you'd have 14,500 going in there this year.
What are you seeing on the horizon?
well, the website needs to be redone. We've put, I tried to put some IT stuff on the website in the VOREC grant, but we may not get that. Website needs to be done, a bunch of, just IT, like hardware. I'd like to move away from Dominion Tech potentially, just because their expenses seem to be getting higher and higher. We talked to Chris Merchant at Waitsfield Telecom, who sort of came in, did a cursory look and gave us a proposal, and he felt, given his experience, that we could do with a much simpler system. They have their whole firewall thing. We pay, I don't know what it is, like $1,000 for the upgrades every year for that. And it's sort of, it's getting to a point where like, no one really knows what it's doing and why we're paying for it and it has.
Are you still talking Dominion back?
Yes, and Dominion has their own thing as well as the software upgrades, and Chris felt that we could minimize the equipment and have it do exactly the same thing. Waitsfield Telecom also, they manage it for us for a very minimal fee in terms of just firewall stuff. So the idea is to potentially look at expenses on that and see if we can move away, do something simpler, but that requires hardware purchases. And then the new website, you know, we pay very little now, but I think moving forward, similar to towns around us that I've researched, you know, it's like an upfront cost of like 10,000 to have a new website done, and then you might be paying a few thousand a year potentially to keep it up, to do the things that we want to
So-
do. We pay like 800 or 500 or something, because I'd set it up previously, but it's just so old and it hasn't, we're just sort of fixing it
And we
now.
still don't have the security certificate,
Right, yes.
another
Yes.
$40.
And I'd love to set it up so we actually have proper email addresses, so it's not going to personal stuff, so we can access budgeting and things like that and shared folders, and just make it easier for board members and department heads to be able to access things.
Mhm.
And Dominion Tech's been bought out by somebody else.
Right,
So what are we, the difference between what we pay for Dominion Tech now a year versus what we go to.
Don't know yet. I'm hoping it's cheaper. Dominion Tech is pretty expensive.
Yeah, but
And there'll be some set cost if you're paying for Office 365 for each user. Do we need that for all of us, or is there an easier way to do that?
well, it would
It
just,
seems like other towns are able to scale up just with email addresses, like Lincoln has a town-based email address for all of their select board members,
What's
which I
their
do.
extension? Cause you can go to .gov too.
Yes, I'd like to do that as well. But I don't have a price for that, but I'm just
We
trying to
figured
just,
out
I
what-
just wanted, if we can, put a little bit of money, extra money in there each year, so then when we get to the point where we say, hey, here's a proposal, and we'll set up an internal committee just to sort of work on that, to figure out what it is, at least the money's there, as opposed to, oh, we don't have anything available for this, we wait another year before we can do it. And I felt 10 last year and 10 this year, isn't that a huge
did
amount
we
of
put
money?
10 in last year?
We did. Again, from unassigned that I asked for, yeah. And
I mean, I think
but it does go down, I mean, usually it was 7, and within a year, we could, if it's a couple computers and a printer and this and that, that sort of, that taps that entire fund of that year's appropriation.
Make it 10, then well, I mean, that's only gonna leave you 4,300 for the, or 40,300 for the Capitol building, but I think it's in decent shape.
Right. Or if you want to adjust, not for the technology, but the general capital roads, since we are bumping that to 70. If you wanted to put more, you could
I think
do
we need-
80,000 for there and then put a little bit more in the
I
capital building
think we
fund.
need it there.
Yeah.
I really do. I think we need it in the Capitol.
I mean, Pine Street and other streets that don't have drainage, I'm thinking
Munsell.
Munsell and Liberty,
Well,
They're gonna eat
Lincoln
that
Road, Yeah,
and we haven't dealt with the Lincoln Road or Briggs Hill.
Right?
So I don't think cutting that back to 80 is.
Are those in your spreadsheet?
Briggs Hill is an unknown figure. They're on the list, but there's no number.
Okay.
Yeah.
2
Oh,
million.
yes, I see it, sorry.
2 million.
So we wanna
No, I
put
know.
40 in the capital building fund?
4326.
Well,
I
or
mean, do
just
you wanna zero it or do you wanna
Nah.
leave a buffer?
put it up.
Oh, there is a buffer. There's 190,000.
Yeah.
That's what we set the buffer ahead of time.
Mhm.
I mean, I guess you could leave that, you could call it 40 for nice even figures and put the 326 back up there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But then, if somebody
What was
saw, when I was bidding, I always put odd numbers, so somebody thought you actually put thought into it.
Yeah, you worked out
Yeah.
those numbers, yeah, and 36 cents, there we go.
What was that number before the 5%?
I don't remember.
144.
Okay.
let's go say 140.
So we
Yeah,
have a
145.
$50,000 buffer too, still.
Can't change the thousand spreadsheet. I was just curious, I wanted Val and you to sit to change the capital roads to 70, since we'd upped that appropriation. I was just curious how that changes our amount. I mean, it's gonna be a little bit each year, but.
What do you think?
Yeah, and there are no other funds. The reappraisal fund is good. That's.
Well, the
building
only
up.
thing I was gonna say about the reappraisal fund, if they go to the state, having to do it, we still have to pay that, right? Probably don't. It's not like they're gonna do it for free.
No, that's.
So that's the only thing I was thinking is, okay, how much is it gonna cost us?
Who was I talking to today that said that was gonna be an absolute nightmare?
Oh, yeah.
They ain't got enough personnel in the state to do all the state items.
Mhm.
Maybe
Do we-
it was a fire chief from West Rutland.
Do we wanna drop that building fund down 15,000 and go back and put 15,000 in the capital
That's
vehicle
your
equipment?
IT, there goes your IT fund.
No, not take it out of IT.
No,
no.
I was talking to
Take it,
Brett,
put it-
Brett made a comment.
Make it another 15,000 in the capital fire equipment, a fire vehicle, not equipment, a vehicle, because we know they're getting
Fire
more
vehicle or
vehicles.
highway
No,
vehicle?
fire vehicles. They're just getting more expensive.
What's a replacement tablet? I mean,
Yeah.
iPads?
Yeah, pads on the trucks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know if they're iPads, but they're tablets.
Gotcha.
Tablets in the trucks. 2 trucks, and then there's one under the TV. I think the one under the TV is about
That's a computer. It's not a tablet. Tablets are the ones you do the truck checks on.
Kind
the
of like
equipment.
the
that's
small
right,
ones,
that's right,
the
Peter,
handheld
sorry.
ones. Oh, yeah.
What is, just go back to the fire one, I wanna see what's in that and his capital fire vehicles.
Vehicle?
Yeah,
I don't think I wanna take it out of capital building.
No, I mean, we can always, we've done a bunch there the last couple of years. We can always add to it next year.
Yes.
yeah, that's true.
I mean, if we're looking at this and we're deciding that the appropriation isn't high enough, then we need to reevaluate that.
That's the equipment plan. I wanna see for the vehicle. There we go. We're going out 5 years, we ever gonna raise it, I was just gonna give it a little shot in the arm.
It went from 100 to 125 this year.
Right,
This
but
year,
it's
last
staying
year,
for 6
last-
years,
last year,
staying budgeted wise, he's
Not
budgeted.
last year was 100 according to the.
No,
to
no,
the
according
sheet.
to the town report.
It was 125 last year, right?
Okay. Cause it showed the actual on the sheet, on the budget sheet was 100. That's where I got it from. But that's okay. Or maybe I look back 2 years. Anything's possible.
I would just- Maybe I'm willing to give it up, but maybe we reevaluate it when we get the 23 audit report next year. And we know we
When we get the 23 audit report in 2026.
Well, I mean,
Hopefully, fingers
but
crossed.
we have to look at these numbers every year
Yeah, we
and
do.
reevaluate and just decide whether.
Yeah,
there's
and-
something up in there.
Brett, can you correct me if I'm wrong, but that 700,000, that would be if you bought both of those trucks at the same time, and I thought you said if the current engine tanker was in good shape, that you wouldn't replace it until it was needed.
The 700,000, what 2 vehicles are you referring to, Peter?
It says purchase,
Tanker unit.
a tanker and your.
First out unit rescue.
Yeah,
So yeah, those 2 vehicles, we're talking about a vehicle comparable to what we call our mini pumper today, a quick attack unit. And then, again, this goes back to the whole, I don't have a crystal ball. But, potentially the town considering years from now, depending on how we're growing, what the needs are, insurance ratings, et cetera, do we go back to a traditional tanker? A truck that just carries water and has a smaller pump on it. We're very fortunate in Bristol to have 2 frontline pumpers, and well, you all know how much money we've spent on maintenance over the years, and certainly having a second frontline pumper is extremely beneficial when one is down for 7 weeks at a time. But
is that the intent of that 550 though, is to be a frontline, a fast attack, and it could serve as a frontline pumper or not?
well, it certainly could be, Peter. It's certainly not a type 1 pumper. It doesn't carry enough water on it, but it connects on it. It can certainly, yes, it can fill a void. I wouldn't want it to fill a void for an extended period of time. But just something to take into consideration. But to your question regarding the town's 2007 Spartan pumper tanker, we're fortunate. We have a diesel mechanic on our fire department who's, had an opportunity to service that vehicle a few times and has a good look at it. And, in his professional opinion, that vehicle its body is in very good shape. So as long as we continue to maintain it, the hope is that it will last a long time. Because if we were to sit here today and say the goal is to replace that pumper tanker, when it's 25 years old, which I know we've talked about in the past, by the time we would have enough funding in our capital vehicle fund, given the current annual appropriations, that truck will be 30 years old and will cost approximately $1.2 million. And we have replaced nothing else.
in the meantime.
in the meantime, nothing
Yeah.
else.
Okay.
Regarding the.
Yeah, that means
tablets,
if we were to go in that direction, we would not be buying a new quick attack unit. Obviously we wouldn't be talking about a tanker, but yeah, there wouldn't be anything else on the horizon. The goal would be just to keep setting aside appropriations until we had enough to replace that vehicle, with looking at the 6 to 10% increase we're seeing annually these days.
Good.
Oh, I was just going down to the equipment plan, and there's room in there now, it looks like, to cover tablets, if you want to include that
In what plan? I'm sorry.
in your capital equipment plan.
Oh, no, I'm talking the technology. You folks are having a conversation about the technology fund.
Oh, okay.
So
Never
we're town department. I'm sorry, I'm gonna be an activist for the fire department right now. The town of Bristol invests literally nothing in technology for their fire department because they don't have to, because we use our own stuff. So yes, I brought that up because you were having a conversation about technology fund, because I'm not interested in taking it out of my capital equipment fund.
Got it.
And I believe we bought a couple of the computers we have out of the technology fund prior to this,
I do believe.
Got it.
way back.
Brett, where the tablets that you currently have, how were they purchased?
Through a grant.
Okay.
Yeah. And one of them has been retired, as I said in my note. It no longer takes a charge. They're 10 years old.
Yeah.
And
They
they get
serve
used
us
a lot.
well.
So are they slate then? You're just using slate and chalk?
No, it's stone and chisel.
Okay, yeah, no, I think that's the technology fund is where those should come out of, and that's not a huge expense.
Then
And please
and I
note,
don't, I'm sorry.
I'm not asking tonight. I just simply lobbing that out there, since you're having a conversation about should we give the technology fund more of an infusion. Well, here's an expense the fire department could benefit from. So that's the only reason I mentioned. I certainly would come to you formally to ask.
Great, okay.
So then the question becomes, is do we then up the technology fund annual contributions from 7 to 10?
I don't think we do this year.
Are you saying on a
Maybe
regular
no.
basis,
So
Michelle?
remember that next year?
You don't wanna go to
What was that, Darrell?
Are you saying on a regular basis, Michelle, or looking at
Yeah.
next,
I think
yeah,
she's right.
Potentially,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, yeah. Knowing that, well, we just voted to replace 2 hub computers, right? So it doesn't take long to drain those lines, that's for sure.
Yeah, we voted on them last Monday night and they got ordered Friday before.
Not once in a row, they ordered on Tuesday.
I don't think they'd push send just yet, right?
I think this is looking good.
Yeah.
All right.
It's kind of exciting to see $100,000 in capital roads.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. So we
Won't
will,
last long.
we will plan to
I know.
insert those numbers then into the warning when we get
Yes.
to that.
Is that
All
it
right,
for
anything
the,
else?
is that it for the budget? You need a motion to accept it?
Except the lister circle.
Oh,
back on
okay,
listers.
no, so we
And
can't
also you
accept
wanted
it
to go
yet.
back to, just personnel in general, I think you wanted to look at.
Yeah.
So some of these numbers might change. So, how do you want to do that?
The warning,
Yeah,
I would say the warning, because we're done budget other than that, right? That's like all
Right.
executive session.
Right, yeah, and then it just boils down to the numbers to fit,
To plug in.
plug into the warning. Yeah.
Yeah, and the only thing I need to change in the morning is the first article, I need to change the offices. But that's not. I'm trying to get rid of.
Yeah, she can't say I never gave her anything.
Yeah,
Is it just one library trustee?
no, that's why I need to update.
Oh, okay.
There's several things I need to update in that first paragraph, but I had to wait and see what was,
Who brought one in?
who came in today and what offices were actually, because the library added seats.
Oh, yeah.
So,
So that's right, there's 2. that need to be, 2 vacancies.
There's like 5
Oh,
seats
my.
that are open for the library trustees.
Oh,
Oh my
my.
goodness.
So if anyone wants to be a library trustee,
Why did
I
they
need
add
to
seats?
change it, there'll have to be a write-in.
we want it to be a larger board.
So here's a question. A
Next
couple
year.
of years ago during COVID, you digitally plugged in signatures.
Mhm.
Do you want to do that again?
Yeah.
He did it last year too.
Oh, last year?
I do
You
that,
forced
I do
us.
that all the time.
He saved them,
Yes,
yeah.
forced us.
I'm flush with signatures. Yes, it's just easier, and then it looks, for the town report, it looks nicer. So, yeah,
Yeah, so I
if
can,
I have approval from select board members, I'm,
once you guys get done tonight, tomorrow morning, whatever link you can send me, so I can fix the first.
Yeah,
Then we can
that
update it, and then I
article
can-
too, So that
I can
it's
put those in.
correct,
yeah. Okay.
and that's the only thing I need to do to it.
Because at the end it says that it's been voted on tonight and given to you to record like tomorrow.
Yes,
So.
right,
it's fine with me.
Yeah. yeah, no, I-
We just have to post everything by
Right.
Sunday, so I'll be posting on Thursday, because I don't plan on being here.
Right.
What?
Don't start with me.
yeah, shocking.
She gets here 7 in the morning.
I know when
She's
she
been
gets
here
here.
since 7.
I know when she gets here.
Bright and early.
Please make sure to plow me out before I get here.
That's nice.
They know better than not to.
That's right.
Okay, so-
Eric, I can't park.
So the warnings?
Yeah.
Okay, so,
That needs to change.
yeah, so that'll be
The
updated.
March, the date and everything's right on the,
Yeah,
for the March.
March 4th.
For
Yeah.
2024.
Here's the- oh,
March. Open the floor.
Yeah, March 4th.
So are we keeping the tax?
At
Mhm.
4%, they always change it.
Only time it won't be is it can.
Yeah,
We'll see what happens.
well, they changed it. It was 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
It was 8 when I started here
Yeah.
in
yeah.
2017.
Well, that was before we brought it back in-house, right? Was it back in-house then?
Yes,
Yeah, I was
Was it
here.
back in-house?
Yeah. because Teresa's doing it.
So we got the salaries.
I changed that, that's me to be
Yeah.
instead of being.
Okay.
So you can approve that if you'd like.
So the numbers need to be plugged in there once we get them, the article.
Public Works Fund budget.
And then you added the article at the end for the.
Right.
Right after
Right.
the other article, we added to go to appropriations on the,
Australian one.
yeah.
Right. Yeah, and then the question there is, should it stay at the end or would it be more strategic to put it somewhere else on the warning? Depending on who we expect to still be there at the time when it gets voted.
Purchase.
Oh, for the
For
land
the,
purchase?
yeah. We can circle back on that when we go through.
Yeah, because the one for the Australian ballot will have to go on the Australian ballot this year,
Wait,
I think.
say that again?
No, the following year. We have to,
No, to actually put that warning, that article on the ballot.
the
They
ballot,
have
right?
to do it.
We warn it this year, we vote on it next year.
No, but she's saying how it's voted. So the Australian
You don't
ballot
vote
one
on it from
isn't
the
a floor
do
vote?
you?
Wait a minute.
I didn't think you voted on it from the floor, I thought it had to actually go on the ballot.
Put it on what?
On the,
Australian
whether we
ballot.
do Australian ballot
Who's on first?
for the appropriations
You've got it on the warning, but I think it has to actually go
So
on.
on the ballot itself.
So we
People have to-
need to check
Same as
whether
candidates.
our vote to go to Australian ballot next year can be a floor vote, or it's an Australian ballot to go Australian ballot.
The vote this year would be a floor vote.
It is a floor vote?
It's a floor
To
vote.
put it
this
on,
year.
it will read,
Hold
do
on.
the voters agree to put it on the ballot for 2000, as an Australian ballot in 2025?
Right, that's a
To
floor
put
vote
up, that's a floor vote this year, to move it to an Australian next year,
Correct.
yay or nay.
No,
Right, but I
no.
thought the question actually had to be on there, on
On
the
the
ballot
actual
this
ballot
year.
that people
It
get
couldn't be a
this
floor
year.
vote, I'll have to check with,
Secretary of State.
Secretary of State's
Well,
office.
I don't see why it couldn't be, because they vote them all from the floor.
Yeah,
And if they
That's true.
choose to let everybody vote on them, then so be it.
But you can't do that in the same year. You can't.
You
have a
can't
floor
do
vote.
it, no, you
Yeah.
can't, because you won't be able to have them on the ballot, but what I'm saying is, I don't see why it would have to be an Australian ballot to go to Australian ballot, because all those articles were voted from the floor. So if everybody on the floor agrees, or if the majority on the floor agrees to go to Australian ballot, and I know you're gonna get one that's gonna stand up and say nay.
No.
Then,
So this year, at Monday night's town meeting, we'll read, do the voters approve to put all civic,
I'll read it to you. Will the voters authorize the use of Australian ballot for voting on the civic/social services appropriations, starting with the 2025 town meeting?
to be voted on at the 2020?
no,
For voting
for voting.
on. for
If
voting
they
on
say,
the
if they
civic-
vote yay on town meeting night, next year it'll
Okay.
be on ballot.
I'm fine with it, but I'm just,
Yeah, no,
I thought, I'm getting back to Sharon's question. This 2025, you say, yeah, the 150 of us in the room.
She
or
was
100
questioning whether,
The actual question that's on the warning this year.
yeah,
And whether it needs to go on the ballot for people to vote on when they come in on Tuesday. That's what she's asking.
yeah, it's either a floor vote or an
Or
Australian
civic.
ballot vote to
Right.
go Australian ballot, but I think Peter is correct. I don't know why it would be an Australian ballot vote unless there's some strange clause that to go to that, you'd have to do the entire, go to an Australian ballot.
I thought you had to, like a capital, you had to have permission to put it on a
No.
ballot vote next year.
No.
That's what we're asking for, is permission to make it a ballot vote next year.
But the ballot
No, I'm
vote,
asking, do we put it on next year's question will read, do you, the undersigned, or vote yea or nay, want to put all new civic
No.
or all
that
civic
that
things?
question is,
in
that's what we're
2026.
asking
That's
this
what we're
year.
asking this
Yeah.
year.
So next year, when you go to vote on Tuesday, if it passes, all of our social and civic appropriations will be there listed, like it was when we
In
had.
COVID.
So
Yeah.
you're viewing it different than say, the zoning question or the town plan question or
Mhm.
zoning regulations that has to be on the ballot,
Correct.
even though it's on the warning.
Yeah. that has been, yeah.
So you're thinking, okay, I don't know, I thought it had to be.
Well, technically.
Well,
Technically,
the
it
zoning doesn't.
Doesn't, we,
But it's
technically,
good-
it doesn't,
it's
we
good
can
to
pass
choose
it, we choose to have them.
Yeah,
We
Zoning.
should actually put it on the ballot, not just on the warning from the floor. Because if you go to a different election. it's-
No, we don't even have to put that on a warning on the floor. We could vote on the changes ourselves. But we've always
Oh.
opted to have
The
the
voters.
voters do it. All these different laws.
I know.
Okay, let's keep going.
And they're getting worse.
Right?
Yeah. Okay, keep going, Val.
Keep going, Valerie.
Okay, these are the numbers, yeah.
And this is
So,
all from the June 30th, 2022 general fund unassigned fund balances, not the 2023 leftovers.
I think you should change it.
AKA leftovers.
I think you should put leftovers. in
Peter's
instead of
leftovers.
Instead of unassigned and have everybody. That'll really.
We don't want people to think we have nothing.
That's true.
Yeah, we're just finding money. and
Yeah, they're changing
Down the
That
sofa.
just means we're budgeting.
They're,
really bad.
yeah, we're not budgeting really badly. Our department heads are very frugal.
Mhm.
Yes,
So,
agreed.
we've got some articles to add to this, because right now there's only 3 articles associated with the fund balance.
And we did
Cemetery,
another
technology,
2, right?
building, And
We did 5.
we have capital roads,
Technology,
capital roads, you have tech. Capital building, you have capital building,
cemetery.
paving, yeah, so we need to have paving, paving,
Paving and Capital
That's-
Road.
and sidewalk, we added.
So we did 6.
yeah,
total.
Yes, we did sidewalk, yeah. So that's gonna be 3 more articles, yep, okay. So just
Getting
3
longer and
of
longer.
the numbers.
What do,
What?
I guess, I guess it's probably best if people have questions to have them all separate. I was just wondering if we could do them all in one
One
article.
article, kind of like we do the voting
Oh, right.
appropriations.
I
Can you
mean, they
just
can-
say, you know,
if you did it
capital
as
building
one-
and maintenance.
They
line?
could,
They still have the
Yeah.
opportunity to ask.
Well,
about
the
it.
Article
I think that-
13,
Interesting.
Article 13 is from the budget. Articles 9 through 12 are from, or 9,
That's what
9,
we're
10, and
saying.
11
But it would
are
still.
last year's funds.
it would
We
still
have
be
to
the
have their
same.
permission.
Yeah,
Well, I'm not
but
sure,
no, what
Peter.
we're saying.
We
is
don't
say
have to have
art-
their permission, but do we need a separate article for all six? or
Oh, I
do we do
don't know
one
about
article?
that, but.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
what he's saying is, will the voters authorize
Yeah.
transfer of the following sums to be placed in the various
From
town
the
capital
FY
fund
Yeah,
to?
that sounds better.
Yeah. I
Right,
like
and then
that.
just list the other. the
Yes,
five.
just like this.
Yeah,
It's like
just that
Article
one.
13, but it'll just say from the.
Anything to move that
Unassigned.
meeting
From the
along.
slush.
Yes.
Bigger slush.
Let's
Beaker's,
paper.
Beaker's leftover slush fund, yeah.
Slush fund.
Yeah. I heard in the meeting you called it a slush fund. Is that true?
Ian's words, not mine. I never said.
He said that. Joel said that. Thank you.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I don't see why. It's all the same thing. We're
Yeah.
transferring
And then
money
it-
from the unassigned fund to
Because
those funds.
they
Yeah.
have the ability to change anything from the
Right.
floor that they want to
Yeah.
change.
So if they had a question about something, and as long as we're clear what it's going to,
And I just,
so would you just, you could format it just as we did Article 13 though?
Yeah.
yeah,
So it would be the
Exactly.
unassigned funds
Yep.
to the six that we've chosen, the total amount, the breakout, so if people had a question. Okay.
yep, perfect. And just for flow purposes, I would move Article 15, current Article 15, above Article 14.
Yeah,
and have
you're
the
gonna have to
library.
move down on this, cause I don't know what article.
Oh,
15
Yeah,
is.
I can't see what it is.
Uh-oh.
But other
Yeah,
way,
but-
there we go.
Yeah. So 14 and 15, I propose that this Article 15 follow this one, partly just for visual flow, but also,
Oh, I see.
but with the library, this starts the individual appropriations, and if we can group them all together, then we can just have a logical numbering. So move the library down here.
Mhm.
To above 16.
Yeah,
Mhm.
just.
But it'll still be its own separate article.
Correct,
Yeah,
but-
okay.
but
Yeah.
in terms of, it'll be easier to just to go down and put the correct article numbers into the budget, the budget spreadsheet.
Mhm.
So,
So you gotta change the number for the capital roads, is that the one we up to 70?
Yeah, those numbers have to be adjusted.
The only thing we changed
Well-
is capital roads, right?
and,
Yes.
yeah.
We changed those from capital funds, from
No.
undesignated, didn't we?
No,
No.
no, we changed, we put,
That's right, we
Capital
did
road fund,
yeah.
Capital road.
That's right, we
fund.
did change
What
it.
happened there?
That's my,
Oh,
you can,
that's
approve.
his attempt at
Yeah,
correct.
I'm reviewing it, so you can just accept it.
okay.
It's not 7 million.
Yeah.
Oh.
That will change the bottom line.
I don't
I
think
mean,
I want to
we'll get there
accept
quick.
that.
Nobody will catch it.
Yeah, so we'll have to change that number too.
Yeah, I mean, I can delete that. so
Let's
you can-
change it now. I'd like to see it changed now.
Yeah.
You can't edit the actual number?
No, because I'm reviewing. Belle has to accept the change.
Yeah, some track
She-
changes.
Yeah, she's reviewing, so she switched to editing, should be able to do that.
Gotcha. So that's the only change there.
Yeah,
I would, with the library, I understand what you mean. To me, logically, it should sit at the top. It's sort of the beginning of the civic appropriations, and it's the largest one. It's always been there, and I think we've always had it in that place.
And I'm not,
Above other organizations, because it's the largest
Yeah.
appropriation in that group.
and I agree. I think it should stay there. And I don't think I get your point, Valerie, to make it all flow better, but you've got a couple of 14, 15 breaks it up and then it flows again. I think it's fine the way it is, honestly. I'd like to see that taken care of. So it's not on a different page. They read them all. Northeast.
well, it's all
yeah.
gonna be
It's
be
just-
changed,
yeah.
because
Oh.
we're not gonna have as many articles.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
formatted
Yeah.
correctly.
You're right.
It'll
Once they-
look real
once they
good.
get all
We
the
usually
numbers
put
in
the.
there.
Oh, no, never mind, never mind, never mind. I was in
Think
my,
before you
16,
speak,
my
right?
thought was, yeah, my thought was.
And go
incorrect.
think it again bigger.
Okay,
No, 16 and then
Going
they got,
down.
because they're all increases, they gotta be voted as separate.
Correct. And this is for a lot of them, it's their second year, but some third. We have a couple new ones, or one new one.
23 is new, obviously.
And here we go.
I mean, you talked about how many people in the meeting. Our meeting last year was only an hour and a half, I believe. So I don't see people leaving before even our last articles.
Well, if this is our last article, they probably are not gonna leave.
No,
And where's the one there to change, to do the vote?
Right above it.
Or is it-
That last sentence is part of the.
Oh. Okay,
Mhm.
gotcha.
Yeah,
Oh, I see this guy.
and I'm
Yeah,
assuming
I don't
that you
think-
won't have the article split across
Oh,
the
no, of course
pages,
not.
that should keep them
No.
together, yeah.
It's just to really annoy people.
Then we use different size fonts,
Yeah.
different colors.
We'll really mix it up.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't think it's a problem having it there.
Okay. So the language, I just pulled it together, based upon my thinking that it would be coming out of the capital buildings fund. But we never actually really agreed to that, but that's what this was.
I'd like to see it right in Eric's budget payment, just like it is the new fire station. Well, Eric is gonna absorb that when Eric or the new, or whoever it's gonna be for 25, 30 years, we've gone for a new, public works garage. It's gonna come out of his budget. It's not gonna come out of capital building.
Well, that's for next year. We
Right, if
can't,
it
we can't,
gets-
this
if
year,
it gets
this
approved.
year, we need a place to take it from. We can't budget for it this year, because that would be saying we think it's a done deal. And
No, but
I-
she's got the last paragraph.
No, I know what she's got there. I'm just saying.
The
for
money's
this
gotta
year,
come
it
from
has to-
some.
Yeah, it does this year, Peter, but
I guess I could take out, this last part and just not mention where it
Where
was
it's
coming
coming
from,
from.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what would be a reason to have it, what's your reason coming out of Eric's budget? Because it's strictly,
That'll be tax dollars, tax income.
You're gonna have to fix that last sentence, it doesn't really make sense.
Okay, yeah.
You're gonna have to put something
Yeah.
paid over that
so we
time
have,
or something.
so
or other.
the,
Paid per year.
Out of the fire department.
Right,
but
Well,
it's
the
the,
building would actually would be a
Right.
bond that would actually be his.
so
I mean,
the fire,
Maybe,
the fire
maybe what we
department.
do is we roll it into, no, that ain't gonna work either.
Well, so we have two things. We have the land and we have the building.
I would just get rid of over the time, over the time, just leave it
and
at.
guess what we did when we bought the fire station from Kevin Harbor? We bought the fire station with the land.
Okay, so
Making a bond payment.
So that bond payment is both?
Right.
Okay, for this, it won't be. We're
Right.
buying the land
We're
separately,
far
and we're
from
only
borrowing.
gonna bond potentially for the building.
Mhm.
So. Yeah, I guess it makes sense to have the land be part of his budget. Well, is there a disadvantage to that by not having it? You said it's tax dollars,
Well-
but isn't it both?
Well, this is tax dollars already collected, your, your savings account. So you're
Well,
not
the
having to
first
borrow or raise more money for it.
The
I
first
see.
purchase is. The first year payment is.
Well, yeah.
The other thing is it goes away quicker than any of our other debt. So if we put it in his budget in 9 years, there's gonna be an extra $17,000 there, which isn't a bad thing.
Hmm.
Yeah, by then I'll have a bond payment.
Right.
Oh, we definitely have a bond payment, hopefully before that.
But is his, not his, but is that bond payment part of the public works department?
It would
budget?
be ultimately. yeah.
Can you
Okay.
put Bruce's thing up there?
Where's his thing? Oh, his comment? Oh, sorry.
I didn't get a chance to read it all.
Says, when do we address possible vote for police town-wide? If we want to complete that by Australian ballot, would we make that request a year before the vote?
When we talked about that, did we conclude not to put it on the ballot, the warning at this time, because we don't have enough background information for a conversation?
Yes.
I thought that's
Yeah.
what
We have not
Yeah.
informed the public of anything. If we asked for it on the ballot now, it would,
They'd ask all sorts of questions that we
and we
don't
don't
have
have
the
the
answers
answers
to.
to.
And we said with
I
there are
think-
two other
I don't think
elections
we
this
have
year.
to, I don't think we have to warn it a year ahead of time, Bruce.
No.
I think it'll
We could
be a
just put it on
series
ballot.
of special meetings and
Yeah,
then we'll
it's
put it on the ballot.
it would be a year, hopefully, a year of public education about that potential change. And
A vote.
And the vote would be an Australian ballot vote in whatever year we decided, whether
Right, so if we
it's
start-
2025 or 2026.
If we start talking about it this year, doing public hearings, then it would be in March of twenty
Yeah,
twenty-five.
and it would be Australian ballot, which would
Right.
last, but we need to figure out the complexities of the district
Mm-hmm.
dissolving and then the establishment, and we've
Like,
worked
yeah.
out that we won't lose the department if an Australian ballot vote doesn't pass. It would return back to what.
I then would like to see this subject be a priority in 2024 for the board.
Sure.
We got a lot of priorities.
We do, you're right.
Yeah, but we can't keep kicking it down the road.
No, I don't disagree, but.
Agreed.
Well, because isn't Kevin Harper eventually not gonna, I
Right.
mean, he only extended their lease for 3
He
years.
extended their lease, but there's a possibility the building might be selling.
Mhm.
Right.
So that would
And we
mean
don't
we'd
know,
have
we don't know the
a,
potential of
we
what that.
don't know what our new landlord would say.
Yeah.
We might be able to use the August or November elections to put some stuff out and.
If we can get our
Yeah,
act together and get
exactly.
the information out.
Exactly.
I would prefer sooner rather than later.
Absolutely.
We weren't prepared.
Prepared.
Prepared to do it this town meeting.
Yeah.
No, a lot needs to go into it.
Okay, back to the warning.
Yeah.
I would just, when I brought it up a week or so ago, my thought was, should it just be a non-binding, non-question?
No, because it's not,
Not at this
you
point.
can't ask a question without the education.
Should
It'll
you, should,
just confuse people.
the only question would have been is, do you feel that the town should, look into the possibility of a townwide police department? Yeah,
I don't know if
If
we
it
need. I don't know
overwhelmingly
if we
is
need a
no.
voter-
We don't
voter
need
question
permission to
for
look
that.
into
Yeah,
it. We need to educate them because you may
I
not know you
agree.
want it.
that's right.
You know, if I just tell you your taxes are gonna go up, you're gonna say I don't want it. But if I can tell you what your services are gonna be
Mhm, I agree.
on that increase, I mean, without voter education, I don't believe it stands a chance.
Right.
Agreed. Agreed.
Well, I think we've got all our articles. We just need to do a
Are you
little formatting and
comfortable
tweaking.
With the wording of 24?
Okay.
Do we need that, all the balance paid over 10 years and it's simply,
To let folks know it's a 10-year loan.
okay,
Mhm.
Do we need, I mean, I guess people ask questions, but we're telling them why we're purchasing the land for the purpose of constructing a new public works building. Is that's also voter approval because that's gonna be a bond vote.
Mhm.
I mean, if that did go ahead, I mean, that's the concept at least that we've discussed previous to announcing it publicly.
They're gonna ask questions.
Yeah,
And we should be prepared with a long list of why it needs to happen.
right. And we have details in terms of our previous public discussions
Right.
about the current location
Yep,
and the
the
issues
condition of the
that,
buildings, the
That's
condition
right.
of the grounds.
right, and what's
Right.
needed to even bring the grounds up
I
to
was gonna say
a
the
place.
expense it would take to
Right.
get it where we could
It
build.
costs
Yeah.
more than the construction of the building.
Right, or even to renovate a building, yeah, and then there's a lot of, even if we chose to renovate buildings, it's still a lot of unknowns that you could ignore, but,
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
and there are potential other uses for the site.
right.
The department already has dibs.
Wait, which department?
Right.
The rec
The rec
department.
department.
Yeah,
Well, I would think that
Meredith's got her binoculars out,
There's
just looking
buildings.
over there constantly.
there's buildings that would have to come down.
Yeah.
Yes,
One thing I don't have yet, and I'm pretty sure I did ask this of the listers, maybe they gave it to me, but they did, I'm spacing on it. The tax impact of removing the property from the tax rolls.
Well, if it's in current use, it's not,
Not in-
it's
It's
not.
not that high
Yeah.
anyways, and it's just lane.
this is
Right.
the Hewitt Road property.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, also and I've said this before, the advantages of moving the public works facility, which has the heaviest trucks, the loudest trucks, out of the current area that it's in, I think will,
Right.
a lot of people
Local
living.
people will be happy.
Yeah, we'll be very happy.
Good.
I mean, not just in that immediate area, but down along a
Mhm.
lot of our town roads.
Right.
Mhm.
All right, so you're comfortable with this language then?
Yep.
And in this location?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
I mean, I'm fine if you want to move it to somewhere else, I think it's fine.
It'll keep people.
Yeah, keep saying
But
the best for that.
Yeah.
I don't remember people leaving. Our meeting was.
No,
was
it
pretty.
was fast enough last.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, when things used to get dragged out and you spent an hour and a half before the
School budget.
school budget meeting, and then that meeting went long, and then
Mhm.
Yes.
they would leave after the
They
school
were,
budget.
they were long meetings.
They were very,
And Jen did a great job last year, so she kept it moving.
Hmm,
As
the moderator.
Yeah,
All right, so we'll make these adjustments and have a tidied up document.
great.
We'll circulate that, make sure everybody's in agreement, and we'll pop the signatures in and. we'll do-
Yeah, I'll make my changes up to your time
Yep,
on that first article.
sounds good. Is there anything
What's
else?
next? Do we have to do the police warning? Or that's done?
That's part of it,
That's
isn't it?
done, right?
That's putting the number in.
That's just, we already approved that, so the
Yeah.
only thing is the numbers.
Okay,
And the date, correct?
Date.
Date's correct.
Yeah, she circled that on hers, I think.
Yeah.
okay. Do we need a motion and to vote on accepting that?
Not until after we do the
Right,
executive session
Yeah.
stuff.
got it, okay.
Good
So we're
now,
moving
right?
on.
Oh, no, there's actually, if the select board wants to, is there an accounts payable?
Yeah, no.
No, she sent it to
Let's
us.
see,
There's
yeah,
also
send it to
liquor
us.
license.
Is that something else?
She sent it to us. Well, we gotta sign it anyway.
okay.
Well, you can give the amount.
It's, hang on the next page. 102.168.53.
Were there any liquor licenses?
Yeah, she's getting it.
Yeah.
Just getting it, okay.
Here's the warrant, 102,168.53.
Attaboy, Ian.
Attaboy, thank you.
One each.
I got one. All right.
And the big one is Briggs Hill. who are-
Yeah, that was a huge one.
Oh, there you go. That's just what we need to do.
Yeah, that's great.
And then the liquor license I have is, for Wells Mountain.
You just need a motion.
Yes, please.
I moved it.
What's
We
the,
authorize the,
Mount
The inn.
Marketplace, down there,
Oh,
where the inn is.
Second.
Did he make a full motion?
yes, I did.
Okay,
Sorry.
sorry, I missed it. And so we have a
Yeah,
motion
you
and a
did.
second?
No, you didn't. But yeah, I did.
Okay, got it.
I interrupted him, so I apologize.
So all those in favor?
I,
Opposed? No, thank you. Anything for select board roundtable? Joel?
Just, talking with my nephew Timmy, owner of Jackman's of Bristol. He put it out there a few weeks ago or months ago that if we were interested for our police department to move in their spot down there. If not, he's gonna rent it out. And I said, we're years away from making a decision. We don't know where we're gonna stay, if can stay where we are. As the speaker said, it's being sold possibly. So. But I told him I'd bring it up. 2,800 square feet and no common area maintenance fee. He takes care of the plowing, the heat and electrical. So just a thought. And then interesting thought for people out there in TV land. and all of us people in the room here. I was talking to Eric Carter Insurance the other day, and we were talking about the cemetery being hit so bad. And he said that if people like myself's got a headstone at Mount St. Joseph's, if your headstone got damaged, your homeowner's insurance will cover that to get that fixed. So they won't take care of the trees and stuff for the town, but just,
I wonder if those people up in Varney still got homeowners.
I don't know, bigger, so just thought people who think their stone got hit, they could call their insurance company, he said. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Speaker?
Just, I was at a meeting today with Senator Sanders and the topic was, to do with rescue and all the mental health crises they were having and taking people and dropping them at the emergency room. And that the trend was to start moving towards having people do it in their own communities. And I said, we'd already taken the move to start that, so. And he will, I don't know I don't think he personally will be, but his staff will be going through Addison County tomorrow, stopping at all clerk's offices. So they'll be here and they'll be at the library.
Yeah,
So
4 to 6, I believe.
that's it.
Thank you. Michelle?
I think I'm good. I had something in my head, but now I don't remember what it is, so.
Too many numbers in your head now.
Yeah.
Ian?
I'm working on the town report. It's, what do we got? Currently at around 155 pages, knocking it down.
I haven't gotten mine in yet.
I'm waiting for a town administrator's report.
Yep.
And a few from Sharon as well. And police department, waiting for their report as well, but it's looking pretty good. Darla's gonna be working on the dedication. But it's coming together. We also have the Houghton Hall sign sitting right here.
Now, will this get trimmed off?
Correct. I take that to my workshop and I take the existing sign and use that as a guide or make a new guide and route the top of it off.
Wow.
And then I'll make some brackets to attach it to the current posts that are there. And we'll put that up. That looks nice. So we've changed it. The very dark green was changed to black. And we've got the gold, not gold leaf, but the reflective gold for the little detail on top and the Bristol Historical Museum name. I think it came out really well. So hopefully have
Should
that
we
up.
pick it up and carry it to the cameras?
Yeah.
Can I move the Al? Get it? But it looks great. It looks really nice. So hopefully get that up as soon as it gets a little
Come
bit
into a
more.
theater
Over
near you.
there and
Right.
talking so that Al can follow you.
Right. You can see a little bit of it.
Right.
So that's all I have.
And I don't have anything for this evening. Alrighty. It's that town administrator's report.
The updates I have, I will share in executive session. Related to personnel stuff.
Thank you, Sharon.
Thanks, Sharon.
Thank you, Sharon.
Good night.
Drive safe.
Oh, yeah, always. Lots of critters don't run out front.
Yeah,
I'll take those.
something are snuggling in their beds.
Other business, correspondence reports, correspondence received.
Just want to point out. In the other business section on the website, there's information about eclipse planning efforts underway statewide to prepare for the April eclipse that is coming to Bristol.
They're really getting excited about this.
Well,
Did
they're
you see
thinking 50 to 200,000 people.
Yeah,
if
you
you-
should read that, but did you see the piece on the news, the gentleman who had booked a hotel, they overbooked, and he wasn't gonna get his hotel room, so they managed to get him in one of their other hotels, but I don't know where that
rooms
is.
are booked, and
Yeah.
the half an hour webinar that I attended, that they're gonna be every other week up until liftoff. And the topics that are being discussed are really interesting. So it is
It was recorded, it's available through the VLCT website, and if you have a half an hour to spend, I do suggest checking it out, it's very interesting.
Cool.
I
The
want,
last
I wanna know
time
if
we-
Meredith is
April
gonna do
12th,
a.
right?
April 8th or something?
April 8th.
Yeah, I
Early
think,
April.
is Meredith gonna do a solar eclipse party? We talked about it through the Bristol Core, last meeting. So it's undetermined, and also in April, the weather can be kind of hooky. So that's a factor too, in terms of.
It's gonna be dark.
The last time we had an eclipse, we had a science teacher that's a resident in town came and kind of gave a talk outside. We thought we'd have like 10 people come. We had like 50, 60 people show up. And we gave, the rec department gave out glasses. We had the opportunity to order glasses and gave those out. But it was really,
Sorry, I ordered 200 of glasses to be distributed, to make available to whoever.
I was gonna say, order them now, because you get closer, you aren't gonna get them.
Right,
Yeah.
so, and maybe other departments can order additional ones if they feel it's necessary. I just get a blanket order.
You throw
Just
one
a
in my
good-
box, you get them.
Oh, sure, of course,
Yeah.
yeah.
Totally.
fun.
We had somebody, when the last time we had one come to was at our office, and he had his telescope, I mean, one of those professionals, and we were out in the parking lot. Just looking at him.
And the other thing I just wanted to mention, let's see, Vermont Family Forests did get the grant for the Seth Hill
Awesome.
study, the drainage work. And so they plan to have the updated plan to us by mid-February, so I look forward to that.
Good.
And things have been really busy, so just the usual stuff.
Okay, shall we move into executive session? You're up, Michelle.
Okay, make a motion, we enter into executive session for 1 VSA, section 313, to discuss personnel matters.
Second.
All those in favor?
Night, Jimmy.
Thank you, Jim.
Jim.
Night, guys. Take care.